Wow, how about that for a fade in, huh? Right to the action. Truth Tuesday begins with a real interesting glimpse of the Earth from a side angle, from one of our space satellites. Yeah, lots of things happening in the world today. Good things and bad things. We lost a wonderful actress. Patty Duke is dead at the age of 69, folks. She suffered from sepsis. Her intestines somehow opened up and she died of sepsis at a fairly young age, 69 years old. Yeah. Great actress, award-winning miracle worker actress. She had the Patty Duke Show. She was in numerous sitcoms. We lost a really great actress, and she was very open about her bipolar disorder. Hey, Dupster, you got a link too? Explosions caught on cam. Really? Take a look. Hope you're having a good night. Truth Tuesday is always about finding the truth. We've been lied to by our government for so long that God knows what is true anymore. Okay, that's not popping up, so I'm going to drop out of it until it opens up. Yeah, so we've got discussions going on about what you want to talk about. Obviously, the debates were so boring with the Republicans and Democrats only talking about ISIS and jobs. Nothing else.
Explosions have rocked an airport in a metro station in Brussels. Belgian media are reporting at least 23...
Okay, this is a media event that happened allegedly in Belgium. Yeah, this is like old news. I'm not sure why you're playing this for us, but yeah, it turns out that this video was possibly from 2011 in the Moscow, where it was a Russian explosion.
People are dead.
Right. Many people think that this is footage from a 2011 Russian explosion. So what is exactly so special about this video? Many people are debunking the entire Brussels event as a false flag. Yeah. So why is this important, Dubster? Okay, let's go back to Patty Duke. She was a really vocal person. She was on there. She was in The Miracle Worker. Very vocal. She had a little interview on Oprah, where she spoke out. Let me listen to Patty Duke for a bit.
No. Sorry, go back to the Miracle Worker.
Okay. That was the beginning, really, of the very distorted behavior from the Rosses. It was during the filming of that scene, both before and after, overnight and over the next night, that the first sexual molestation happened.
So you are filming the Miracle?
Yeah, so she was filming The Miracle Worker when she was sexually molested by the two people that were taking care of her and were her guardians. Yeah, she said she went through hell as a child actress. They treated her like a hostage. So it's pretty interesting. Okay. Yeah. Did everyone stop thinking? Oh, we lost connection to chat. Okay, there we go. You're hi, Mad Dog. Are you high? No, she was not related to David Duke, but she was a great actress. She was the star of the Patty Duke Show. A lot of us who are older remember her. Yeah. So, but being molested as a child during that time when she was filming The Miracle Worker, wow. Talk about really impacting her life. David, LED, why do you say that she is like that? Is it because she has an empire? Yeah, have some compassion. No. Dave, can I be part of your security? No, Randall, I'm sorry. No, I'm not choosing a security force yet. I'm still taking resumes. Again, if I don't reach the mainstream media, there won't be any need for a security force. I can take care of myself. I'm a highly trained, physically capable man who happens to be built like a rock. And people are rather intimidated when I walk around them. I don't know what it is. Being 225 pounds and 6'4" and strapping muscle. I don't know. That's probably what intimidates them. I don't believe the Brussels attack was real at this point, Skippy. No. Snods, I do not believe in the flat earth theory. That, along with the reptilian theory, is a lot of hocus pocus. The government fills the media up with fake stuff all the time. So oftentimes when you hear stories about chemtrails, for instance, you're really going to also be reading about reptilians and the flat earth. But the one true thing in that statement are the chemtrails. They are flowing in the skies above us. That's right. There's ample room for discussion on this issue, but nothing is more evident than this picture right here. This was taken off of a geomapping site that Scissorfight actually looked at August, I guess it was March 9th. No, February 9th, 2016. This was a picture that is still on the internet, actually, of a chemtrailing that went over the South Australian Sea. They literally create lines in the sky with jets, and they're trying to create a blanket effect, which moves the air around in a way that they can predict. Okay, so there's another story that's pretty interesting, too. Okay, wow. Okay, that's, on the heels of Robert De Niro talking about the Tribeca Film Festival, Robert De Niro has asked to remove the movie Vaxxed. And many people are wondering what the heck's going on. Why did they pull that movie? Well, the movie Vaxxed is a really good example of, let me take a picture here, of what's going on. It reveals the truth. One of the CDC members, the supervisor, Thompson, put the data out there showing that kids were extremely likely to get autism, especially black kids. And he revealed this. I've told you I don't want you supporting yourself here, Ed. Okay, thanks. Yeah, the people in the movie Vaxxed revealed that Thompson's statistics were correct. In fact, 38% of black kids inoculated with vaccines were getting autism. And that suppression of information is what is now going on. So De Niro is buckling to the pressure from Big Pharma. And who knows what else? Who else? Maybe the CDC is pushing him. Who knows? Maybe the government's saying to pull it. But De Niro has pulled the movie, the documentary Vaxxed, from his Tribeca Film Festival. That's a serious problem. We have an indie film now with a Nazi connection. People are looking deeper into the company that's involved, the Sloan Foundation, the Nazi science connection. De Niro's unfortunate censoring the Vaxxed documentary at the Tribeca Film Festival has opened up a Pandora's box of research into the Sloan Foundation, which is believed to have pressured De Niro to pull the film. Okay? The Sloan Foundation was founded by Alfred Sloan in 1935 during the height of the Nazi eugenics movement. Sloan was a Nazi collaborator who used his company General Motors to enable the Nazi war machine to build more tanks and assault vehicles that were used to slaughter citizens, etc., etc. Now we learn that the Sloan Foundation has infiltrated the independent film industry. So remember, we've been trying to draw connections to the Nazis and how they're trying to inoculate us with dangerous tumor-producing products like Nagalase? And you can look this up online. This product is extremely dangerous. It's found in all vaccines. So yeah, it's got tumor-producing qualities. It's boring you? Well, bottom line is people who are trying to wake you up to the dangers of vaccines and to chemtrails are having a hard time, cat's tail. Yeah, you just don't want to admit it. A lot of you are having a hard time with the fact that they're treating us like insects, dumping chemicals on our head without even discussing it publicly or having peer-reviewed studies of it. The truth is they don't care about any of us. The truth is they literally are dumping everything on us and putting it in our water system. It goes on and on. The truth is we're being contaminated. It's like a slow kill. And the only thing we can do is band together and form a political movement to challenge these people, because the two parties won't even take on these issues. So we have already put the wheel in motion to create this third party 7 years ago. And we're still rapidly building steam with word of mouth traffic. We're being broadcast all over the world now in various areas. One in particular in Japan. I really appreciate their effort to show our show, because we really are a cutting edge alternative to the two parties with great concepts to help build our economy and get traction in this economy. I know that our process can work. We can actually eventually solve the basics, get people housing without taxing you, the working class, to do it. There's ways of generating money. It's called business. And we came up with a great idea to do this, hybrid capitalism, which we think will simply trigger growth in this country with a brand new way of looking at things, getting the government to loop capital. So it no longer has a wasteful spending cycle. Getting ahead of the wasteful spending is perhaps the most important thing in our economy right now. So yes, hybrid capitalism. A book we wrote in 2012, which really will absolutely be the best thing we've got going all the way up through 2020 or beyond. It really is the beginning of a 50-year plan for the future of our country. So anyway, we've reached that point where we're getting nowhere with the two-party system, so we have to do something completely different. Hybrid capitalism, that's right. It uses the best of all different schools of economics and pieces them together and makes a good mix of ways of solving problems. It's not Marxism. In no way does it resemble Marxism, because we're not going to take over private property. We're not going to, like socialists, like Bernie, he wants to take money from the working class to pay his $15 trillion job plan, which he doesn't even know what jobs he wants to create. And we're filled with ideas that will actually generate jobs in your area. All right. And we can spell it out too. Like our homestead renewal plan, that's a good thing we have going for us, which will be immediately implemented. I won't have to go through Congress to do this. Now, somebody's been telling me that Donald Trump has been using my blimp plane idea. He's been using now 7 ideas that we've come up with. I can't believe it. I don't know if this is just somebody's trolling me on the internet, but I've yet to see any confirmation that he's using this idea. But either way, he's been borrowing ideas from me for the past 2 years. We've been talking about issues for 8 years that he's talking about publicly now. I don't know. I haven't verified it yet. And they're trying to DDoS me too, Allfather? Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I knew my desk chat is turned off, DJ Bad Boy. I turned it off because I wanted to make sure that people were under control. We were getting some real bad trollers. They'll go away eventually, and then we'll bring in the guest chat in just a few minutes. You hard work for a decent home in a decent neighborhood. I don't want poor filth to bleep that up. They won't. Yeah, your chances are we won't be able to buy a house in your neighborhood. Look, if you're in a neighborhood with over 150,000 in value, we're not going to even be buying houses there. We're talking about condemned areas that are completely for sale. We're going to buy a block at a time and put a large fence around each block, a permanent fence. So, I mean, you will live in an enclosed neighborhood within a neighborhood when you get into these housing opportunities. You'll be protected. Yeah. Especially in Detroit. We can't just, expect to fix up a house. It'd be gutted the night it was closed down. Oh, don't worry about me. Making a presidential video, we have lots of them, Grizzly Ray. You can go back about 5-6 years on YouTube. We got lots of shorter ones on the issues. Just have to go through our YouTube collection. Yeah, so we're great. Nice to see you. Thank you. We're looking at a lot of things happening in the world where our people are being lied to. When a movie like Vaxxed is pulled from the Tribeca Film Festival, it creates a huge storm of controversy. That's not what the elite want. They want to slowly poison the population and get rid of us. They don't want us having sex. They want us all to turn gay. I'm not kidding. They want you to have abortions. They certainly don't want you to have children. The ones that are having children, I applaud you. Good job. Replicating. Nice work. You don't need any training to replicate. You just have to, do the dirty. And that's all it takes. And then your life changes right after that. I haven't had children, so I haven't gone through a lot of the troubles that you guys are going through. But I know they're a joy and a burden. You have to take the good with the bad. Don't get the impression they're going to stay in your home for the rest of your life. Unless you nourish that concept, they're probably going to go on their own. They're going to hit the road. I have a relative that raised 2 kids and never even gets a text message from them. It's like, really? No text message? Detroit's got a lot of issues that need to be dealt with. Obviously, fixing up some of the worst cities are going to be our biggest challenges. Okay, apparently this woman is claiming that Bill Clinton snorted coke right off her table. This is a pretty brave woman, I'll tell you. Sally Miller said Bill Clinton snorted coke off my coffee table. This is a big moment in her life. She's sharing it with the world. Go ahead, Sally. Get it off your chest.
When he did coke, he brought a little, like a woman's cosmetic case. That's the only thing I can describe. And he put it down here, pushed everything aside. Of course, he was a little bit bigger than me. And he rolled it out, and there was this little mat, and he sprinkled this white powder. I was sitting across the way. I was just fascinated because it had a little straw, and he leaned over and, in each nostril, took a few.
Is that how people snort coke? Does anybody know? Does that sound about right? Okay, let's go on. Go on, Sally.
Big snorts, and he felt better, I guess, because he had a big smile on his face. And I asked him if he did coke because it was almost like a stimulant. He said it just made him feel better, gave him more power, made him feel courageous. And I didn't question it because everybody has different ways of getting high. I go running and I get a high. But if you ever saw pictures of Bill, he didn't run much.
Okay. So AK-4700 has said he snorted coke for years. 4 years, exactly. Yeah. So a lot of you are okay with the fact that Bill did some coke. You're not, yeah. Well, didn't Barack Obama do crack? Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of you who voted for Obama, you're okay with the crack thing, right? Yeah, you must be okay with Bill Clinton doing coke, too. I've never done coke or crack or meth or all these things that you guys have tried. Yeah, but you're okay with that. So do you think a president who hasn't done crack or coke should start doing coke in the White House? Are you okay with that, too? Because I've asked people if it's okay if, we legalize marijuana. And, I've even talked about maybe vaping to go to sleep. Have you ever tried vaping a little indica? It helps you, really get sleepy really quick. It's almost better in some ways than taking a Xanax. I've never taken a Xanax. But I can imagine it's less hard on your system, Yeah, so I say no legalization on other drugs besides marijuana until we have a 2/3 consensus. If we have 2/3 of the country that will support legalization of marijuana, I'm in there with you. I will go in the direction of 2/3 of the country. And we'll be polling everybody daily at the White House in our daily chat show. Whoa, what just happened? Oh, sorry. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message. There's got to be some important message I can bring up here. Here's something that's going viral online. Man drives by a house and notices something startling. Startling. This is startling. Yeah, I think you probably noticed there's no driveway. That's about how great the news is today. Yes, I will turn guest chat on for a test period of 7 or 8 minutes. Hold, please. One moment, please. Guest on. The guester. Okay, let's see what you got. It'll be going off as soon as we have another attack. Yeah. You know, according to Ed, I only need 3,000 votes to be on the ballot in Washington, D.C. this coming election. Any of you in Washington, D.C., you might want to contact. All right, that was your test. That was all we could afford to give you. Yeah, if you're in D.C., we could probably get you out there. I know. We got one bad guest who had to be clicked out of the show. That's absurd. That house is under construction. Well, it wouldn't be that hard to actually make a driveway into that house if we're still on the house issue. You can do that. The best solution for a house like this, where the owner or the maker of the house didn't know where the driveway should go. Number one, fire the building company. Number two, get a huge crane out there and lift the entire house up and spin it around. I'm going to rule that as not an option. And number three, it seems like you could make a driveway into that area by simply laying some pavement there. Yeah, that's the simple solution. And then turn the other area into a basketball court. I'd put a hoop right there on the wall. This is what I would do. It looked Photoshopped to you? Yeah, could be. I mean, I could see a definite basketball hoop right here. You know? Kids could play hoop, you know. Be wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Okay. Look, at half the people in the country don't pay any taxes. That's the truth. Okay? Because of the fact that they're not paying any taxes, Donald Trump's plan is a net fail. He wants to tax everybody. We don't want to tax anybody who makes less than $100,000. So fire the IRS. And the Fed can't lower the prime below zero, so end the Fed. The EPA, all they want to do is dump cyanide in rivers like Colorado. Fix the EPA and the FDA when they're targeting holistic doctors who are coming up with cures for cancer. And fix the CDC, spending $7 billion per year to generate more vaccines that don't work. And the FCC, yeah, now they're trying to meddle deeper into our lives by jacking up our rates. We just got hit with a large bandwidth rate increase on our server. So we expanded our ability to process information. We've got way more bandwidth to do the show. And we've got better upload speeds at 10 megabytes per second. So Sarah negotiated a good deal with our server, but we were getting nailed. I think it's because the FCC decided that the internet is a utility. So I think we have to keep the pressure on just by talking about things on a nightly basis, and I think that's the very least we can do. And I don't think we're going to be able to stop this incredible tyranny unless we build this third party. So yeah, I am like a broken record every night. And I realize that it gets a little tiring to see, you know, this guy who hasn't had any mainstream media attention talk about issues that are important to all of us, but we have to keep doing it because we can't stop, and we won't stop. That's right. We're going to keep on dancing.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop,
So let's be clear. In this coming election year, please vote for David Sponheim. America's Third Party.
Sponheim for president.
We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop.
First we hit 'em low, then we hit 'em high. Underrated, but we made it to the finish line. Rhymes designed to combine and intertwine. Spring to the summer, fall, even winter time. Beats banging harder, then head-on collisions. We make incisions with precision and quick decisions. Causing double visions if you ain't up to speed. You need to speed it up, partner, piano read.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, we can't stop, and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, and we won't stop.
In this coming election year, please vote for David Sponheim. America's Third Party.
Can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, can't stop.
All right, that was cool. Yeah, Dancing Dave. All right, so we got to work on something here. We're engineering something, a future that looks better for our families, for our future, that involves recycling waste, building a sustainable country that no longer relies solely on consumption as a way to create growth. Clearly, we've got a massive conspiracy in our country against the average person, and your chance of getting out of your debt in life once you're in it is pretty insane. So what we want to do is get some fiscal management plans for the American people. And I talked about this last night. I'm going to mention it to you tonight. Many of you are struggling with FAFSA loans because you took out a 4-year education loan. You got anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000 in debt. You are getting screwed. So another thing I'm going to try to do as president is renegotiate the entire note for the FAFSA loans. So the $1.3 trillion that you folks owe will be negotiated with very low fixed rate interest, under 4%. And we're going to try to hone in on getting you a plan where you can definitely pay that back rather quickly. Because right now, if you pay your loans off, you'll be paying forever and you'll never get to the principal. The truth is they've got it rigged so that you get screwed in life when you take out those 4-year education loans. That's a huge plus for the American people because a lot of people are really struggling right now to meet those payments. It's endless. I mean, they pay $100 a month for 9 years and they end up paying $3,000 toward a $9,000 balance. Yeah, so there's got to be something we can do. We did it with Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. We know we took $11 trillion and backed it. Back when? Back right around the mortgage debacle when that happened. Those companies were solid. They had full support of our government, and they had a negotiated rate. We could easily get the rate down to even closer to 2%, but we have to do something to deal with this endless drain on our culture, because the people that really do spend money in life are the ones that are more professional and have better careers. Believe it or not, they're the ones that are actually hiring people to do work on their house, and that's part of the multiplier effect. We need to get the multiplier effect back in our economy. And people who are, struggling with their student loans need some relief. All right. Yeah, it'd be great if there were no interest, just value adjustments for cash values. Yeah, if we could work that out, that would be good. Well, the contract itself is very unfair, in my opinion. Very unfair. It's got usury written all over it. Thanks, Truth Tuesday. Yeah, I'm deep in the game, all right. Yeah, our phone is always available. Yeah, we have the ability to call in 707-YOUR-ATP. We just don't promote it, And you have to call from a real number, not some fake number. It won't go through. Hey, they signed a contract to pay back their note, what they took. But when you look at the total numbers, Cat's Tail, they're paying 3 times more than they borrowed. In the end, with the adjustable interest rate that they have. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. A lot of these things were like no payment up front and then balloon payments later. And this is coming from a guy who refused to take loans out and didn't finish my 4-year education as a result of that. It's not a big deal. It's that I'm fine the way I am. I'm not complaining, but I'm glad I'm not in debt. I just feel bad for you guys that are sitting there with $50,000 to $100,000 hanging over your head trying to meet their minimum payments every month. It's like, God, they get you addicted. to spending. When you graduate from high school, most people get about $2,000 in credit card draw, and most people abuse it. I know I did. I ripped through $2,000 and then I kept spending. I spent $4,000 of that $2,000. I got a call from the credit card company saying, "Hey, you're overspent." And this is back when there were no laws, and there were no major penalties. It was like, I think, $12 to be overdraft back then. Not now. Now banks are getting all kinds of money. A total of $36 billion a year go to banks for overdraft and late fees. They're making tons of money on people barely able to meet their payments. So there's got to be some change. And it can't be Christopher Dodd and Barney Frank. It's got to be something other than Dodd-Frank bill. Yeah, overdrafts will take you down big time. So there's got to be some adjustment there, because these are the people that really are vital to our economy, and they're the middle tier, the people that are just starting to get out, getting a real professional job, and really want to continue to grow financially. But they're so stifled, it's impossible to get out of that headspace they're in. And I have compassion for those people, even though I don't like the fact that you took out loans. You are the most viable people to get employed in our ever-changing, specialized economy. All right, and other people who don't have an education, you should be having certifications or possible jobs doing work in something you enjoy. And I would encourage a 6-week to 6-month education plan for you people. Not some Bernie Sanders pie in the sky, promise you a 4-year education kind of thing. I get tired of this guy promising everything to everybody. It's sickening. Okay, we're on with American Tradition. Go ahead, American Tradition. What's your question?
Hey, what's up? I was the one that asked you for your number. I just want to let you know, you're a smart guy. I go to college. I'm a 20-year-old. You're right about the FAFSA loans.
Yeah, they're bad. I mean, how deep are you right now at this point? You're in college. How much should you loan?
About 20,000.
20 grand.
Halfway through.
Yeah, and it hangs over your head every day. You're thinking, well, I got it. Yeah.
I got to pay it off.
I know. And it's going to grow as time goes on. I know somebody who just graduated 4-year education, took 5 years to do it. They owe $50,000, and that's low. That's a low-end cost. 50 grand.
Yeah, they add more to your degree plan to try to get you to stay 5 years instead of 4, so you pay more money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's one of their game plans. You're right. And this is a for-profit business that they're engaged in, and that shouldn't be. I mean, you guys are trying to get your life together. It's good that you're going to college. I mean, they're literally pushing people in a tough situation. They're getting you hooked up to the hamster wheel at a young age, and then you're on that wheel and you can't deal with it unless you just go out and work constantly and you're not going to get ahead of those notes. You're just paying a small amount toward you're paying like 10% of that money you pay goes to the residual.
Yeah, I've been following you since I was 16. I'm 20 now. I'm Dano 843 from Blog TV. You remember?
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, Dano, for sure. Yeah, I remember an older man being Dano. Maybe you're a different one. Okay. Yeah.
I'm a younger
guy. Okay, cool. We have a story here. Loretta Lynch. Apparently, her law firm is tied to Hillary Clinton. Talk about, being in bed with power. And why do they choose a black woman to replace a black man for the third most powerful position in the country, Attorney General? I mean, it's kind of crazy how they created this racist choice of a person. I mean, it just boggles my mind. It's blatant racism. We should have had more opportunity to get, any number of people in there, but we get a black woman to replace a black man? I don't get that. Something's wrong here.
And the college kids are dumbed down, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know people that graduate.
Really dumb right now.
Well, some people have a hard time making sentences, and they're still in college, but at least they're trying.
Yeah, I see it, too. They're dumb.
Yeah. But something?
Politically, socially.
Right. They are. Something? It's the commitment to getting the job done is what they're looking for. They don't want you to be the brightest person in the world when you graduate from college.
No, they don't.
They just want you to be able to get the job done and go to work and answer questions.
That's right.
They just want you to be a good yes person. So that's why I opted out of the college system. I saw what it was trying to do to me, but without a degree, you're not going to make more than $25,000 a year in America.
That's right.
That's true. I mean, I
I'm
hate
gonna
to
be a
say it.
teacher, so it might start around 30,000 something for me. So
yeah, definitely 30 grand is a starting for most teachers. You can definitely do better in New York. Obviously, they pay more money in those states.
I'm in South Carolina, so it's about 34.
Okay, good. That's about standard across the country.
Yeah, I had went to the Donald Trump rally too. I had told him about you when he came around and signed the signs. He's heard of you.
Oh, has he? Well, thanks for telling me.
Has.
Thanks for giving me that confirmation. I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote it down on a card and gave it to him too. So.
Oh, good. Well, he's taking my ideas. He's taking my ideas, and frankly, these are only ideas that I put out 8 years ago. And I didn't copyright any of my ideas, obviously, because I'm not going to waste my money on copywriting ideas. But to take my ideas and not expose any of them to the American people for me, but say they're his ideas, that's just a low-end thing. He's really starting to seem like he's a liar. Everything recently when he said that none of his people touched that journalist, and no one touched her, and then now he's saying that they did touch it. They did touch her, but it was for a good reason or something. It's just come on.
Crazy.
It's just backing away from everything he says. It's just so weird.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I really do believe you do have a 185 IQ. The way you read the chat, you read everybody's comment really fast. I mean, you got to be smart to do all of that.
You do, yeah, but I'm not.
And to keep up with the XSplit stuff too, on top of the chat and all that.
Yeah,
that'd be really smart.
It's difficult for sure. We learned over the years to do it, and it's been successful. Our plan is working.
Yeah.
America is going to have a good interactive president as opposed to what we have with Obama, where they don't talk at all on a daily basis. The president should be talking on a daily basis with the American people at a chat show like this, so we can process a lot more information. I could have 3 screens in front of me, and I can be responding to chat. We could have live polls going on during the show.
Yeah.
Where everyone can decide on issues. Idea. It would be so cool. Wouldn't that be great to have like a pollster thing going on? Maybe we should do that right now.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, cool.
Very much true.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll let you go now. It was nice chatting with you.
Thank you for calling, man. All right.
You two have a good one.
You too. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Yeah. See how easy it is to call in? Hey, Sir Waffles. You're always with Dave. Thank you very much. Yeah, so this young man has $2,000 in loans, like so many young people, their first couple years in college. Sarah's in. Hey, Sarah.
Yeah.
How was your day? Hi.
Good.
Good. You got that really pretty picture. That's like that's an ocean scene from Alaska. That's pretty, yeah. It's Alaska map there.
Sure.
Yeah. 12 Detroit school principals arrested for fraud. Wow. College should not be 15 grand a year for community colleges, but they are across the country. Big Ivy League schools are $50,000 a year. It's just the price of education is like a racket now. And it's basically a bubble that could burst, like the subprime loan bubble. 12 Detroit principals stole $1 million in kickbacks. This story will be generating over time. The federal government today dropped a legal bomb on 12 current and former principals. A business.
What's that like?
Okay. Okay.
So
they used a guy as a school supply vendor, a guy named Norman Shy, who is accused of paying about $1 million in kickbacks and bribes to at least 12 Detroit principals. He was a businessman that sold school supplies. And they used money for kickbacks. You know, if you buy from me, I'll get you a kickback on the side. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Patty Duke has passed away. This story is pretty serious. She died of a sepsis. You know, when the intestines breaks and you don't get treated right away, you can definitely die. And she died at 69 years old. She had a broken intestine, something. It could have been like diverticulitis or something. I don't know. I mean, my first thought was she giving herself colonics, you know? But yeah, Patty Duke dead, 69 years old. You got a lot of you don't remember who she is, but she was very popular at the Patty Duke show. She did the wonderful Academy Award winning Helen Keller, Miracle Worker. Yeah. Sepsis is really bad. If you're lucky to live through it. I knew a guy who lived through it. The time ran out for Patty Duke. Yeah. Hopefully she's in heaven. That's right. You dated Patty Duke, really? I don't believe you. Rob Ford was murdered. Now, is there a real story behind that, Grizzly Ray, or is this just you saying it in the chat room? I think Scalia was murdered, but I don't think Rob Ford, he had advanced cancer of the colon. Yeah. I don't know if Patty Duke was suffering from any medical disease, but sepsis is serious. There's no autopsy with Rob Ford either? I can see right through your jokes, yes. I had guest chat on earlier, but it became almost unbearable.
Yeah.
Wow, Sally Miller's spilling the beans. The woman just said that she saw Bill Clinton
She had
open up.
several abortions before she had Chelsea, and it was only because Bill convinced her that if they were ever going to move up in politics, that they had to have a child, because that's what the political analysts had said. They've got to see her as a human. They have to see her. I think in society they always say if you were a mother, you can't be half bad. You know, there has to be some love, or gentleness, or compassion within you if you birthed a child. But that's not true. There's some pretty bad mothers. I had one. She is a Gloria Steinem kind of feminist. If you ever seen pictures or heard Gloria Steinem, just a cold, conniving bitch. That's just it. And they don't care about anyone but themselves. That's what most feminists are all about. It's about themselves. And most of them don't like men, incidentally. They only use men for income, appearance, and Hillary could never have made it to Washington, D.C. without Bill. Bill was the song and dance routine, you know? He's the one that played the sax, and he could laugh and joke and talk, and Hillary can't do that.
I remember hearing that Hillary actually was very well known in D.C. before Bill ran for president, and actually before Bill ran for governor in Arkansas, that they kind of said, well, Hillary, what are you doing with this guy? You could go places in D.C., just come and run in D.C. So that's, I'm not saying that I support Hillary, because I don't, but that's, I don't think that she wouldn't be anything without Bill. I disagree with that statement for sure. What are you talking about, cat's tails? All right. Thank you, Chet. David's just taking a little break, just like I just took a little break. I probably did David Nation. Are you going to say that makes me a horrible person? I don't know, but I probably did. A long time ago. Oh, we're talking about the poor people in America. All right. Okay, I don't think so, but you can think whatever you want. Yeah, I'm wearing multiple layers, so I'm like wearing a turtleneck blue sweater, and then David's sister gave me this Alaska shirt. See, it says Alaska, and it has a bear on it. Anyway, so she gave me this shirt, and I wear it up with a sweater. I'm a real kind, gentle person. Thank you, Chit. Thank you very much. I am a layer. I wear lots of layers because I live in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, not gonna happen, AK 470, 100. Thanks for sharing, Randall. Yeah, I don't need to hide under that much makeup. Yep, and I don't have tattoos, so that's kind of good. I thought about getting a tattoo at one time, but I decided against it. My sister made this product called Queen of Hungary. It's like a natural shampoo kind of thing. I use that with a little Miracle Mane shampoo mixed together. And then I also used Infusium 23 conditioner. Oh, what? No, Deacon? Yeah, Randall, it's a little weird. I'll say that. I tend to agree with you, American tradition. I was thinking of going to that university to, I haven't been, but I've applied and I've been accepted. So I'm thinking of going to that university to do to finish my master's degree. Yep, I do. I have my own opinions. That's good. No, I haven't really thought about dyeing my hair black. Yes, it really happened because you can go out there and find it later, 88. Well, you have to decide. No, you can't live with me, and no, I will not give you money. Yeah. Good luck with the online university. I'll need it well after I've graduated. No, well, Western Governors University is the only accredited online university. Whereas others, I wouldn't trust. I wouldn't trust just any online university. That's pretty cool. Nice American tradition. Yep. All right. Thank you. I will. I would say that I do want to help the country for sure. CIA bloopers. Yeah, that Grand Canyon one is only regionally accredited. Yeah. Mm. Well, the students at elementary don't normally change classes during the middle of the year. No. They go to 3 different classes. Sometimes they have, but usually that's not the case. So, yeah, David might be chopping up some salad for dinner. That's probably good. Oh, yes, he'll be back soon, Larry. Don't worry about that. I know, you love David, and he is fantastic. He's a great guy.
People like everybody. You know, there's some people that really love you, and there's some people that really like me. So, yeah, people are so hardworking in this world, and to have scumbags on the internet take advantage of them, it's really unfortunate. You know, we just got a couple of deliveries.
I know.
They're really sick how these people, cyber terrorists, engage in this slow, constant, and deliberate attack on good, innocent people. Really is sad. So Sally Miller is coming out talking about Hillary in a negative way, getting a lot of exposure, and she's talking about Bill doing cocaine. She commented about Bill doing cocaine. So whatever the bone she has to pick with the Clintons, she's now revealing herself to everybody. Yeah, Sarah fixed Dave's hair. Dave's hair is fine. Yeah.
If anybody's hair needs fixing, it's me.
Your hair looks good.
That's all right.
No, it looks good. It's kind of. So, what's going on for the American people today? Are we processing any information other than the fake attacks or real attacks, depending on how you look at it?
Oh, can I do that?
Oh yeah, there we go. The big news today is Trump's campaign manager has been charged with simple battery. Trump denies he did any wrongdoing. What's interesting about this story is it went viral when the campaign manager grabbed the reporter from Breitbart by the arm and bruised her. So what's interesting is Trump said that neither one of them touched the woman. And now they're claiming he did touch. Now he's claiming they did touch her, but for a good reason. So he is on record lying. Trump is. Going to be interesting. How does he wiggle out of these things and nobody seems to pin him on anything? It's the entire power of the elitists that are backing this guy. He is an establishment figure. Don't kid yourself. He is completely establishment. That's how he got all that money. You don't get enough money to deal with 4 corporate bankruptcies without having to, schmooze the big guys. So that's pretty serious. We don't need a greedy guy for president. We need a person who understands the plight of the average American. And believe me, neither he or Hillary understand the average American. And Bernie doesn't understand the average American. Bernie didn't work till he was 40 years old.
Oh, really?
He never had a job.
You told me that.
He never had a job till he was 40. It's just kind of amazing to me. So a lot of you are like really working hard to kind of make ends meet in this tough economy, and it's getting tougher. Everywhere you turn, your paychecks are not going up. By the way, that's what they talk about when the Fed talks about wanting to see inflation. They really mean they want to see paychecks go up, but they can never get that to happen because the Fed doesn't understand that you cannot build traction in this economy by just giving money to big banks or people like Donald Trump. They're not going to raise salaries. You have the right of free space. Yeah, we just saw that story, Ann. Fed charged 9 and it's going up to 12 Detroit principals are now charged with stealing $1 million. Bernie must have been taken care of.
And what's that like?
Bernie must have been taken care of by his parents or something. We don't know. You love Bernie, the college kids there at Winthrop University? Yeah, isn't that weird? We're living in Bernie land right here. Almost everybody seems to be loving Bernie. But there was a Bernie Sanders sign that was defaced recently. We live in the little Soviet Union here in Washington State. Yeah. They all believe somehow that they are the supermajority when they're not. They barely have 51%. They all think that they should make decisions for all of us, and they all believe that the only way to fund government is to tax. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not liking it. I don't like the idea of socialism. I don't like the idea of the working man having to pay for the non-working man. I'm reading the chat logs, and the person by the name of Pilkins is in the chat right now. Calling me Chris Hansen. Wow, that's good coffee. I don't do any sugar in my coffee. I try to avoid hard sugar,
David does a good job of avoiding it.
Well, actually, I love ice cream, and that's the one area I'm weak. I'm weak when it comes to ice cream. I love ice cream, so I try to limit myself to a couple scoops. And I don't eat sugar-free. I hate that stuff. Yeah. Well, the fact is the Second Amendment's not going anywhere. They would have to pass another amendment to in any way push for gun control. It would have to be like the Prohibition, where they had an amendment saying you couldn't drink alcohol or sell alcohol. Then they had the repeal of the amendment, the Prohibition. So that would have to be the way. I don't in any way want to see gun control in America. And it's a diversion, really, the whole Second Amendment issue that the Democrats keep pushing. It's a complete diversion. It really takes us away from the real issues affecting our country right now. And obviously lack of jobs is a big part of it. Hey, that's cute. DT Laura came up with a pretty little animation. That's cute. Thank you. Sparkly. We can talk about ice cream or guns. It's Truth Tuesday. You can talk about whatever you want.
I love that poem. Rev. Pete Davis.
Well, the Second Amendment does not perpetuate street violence. In fact, what they found, what they found is that handguns were outlawed in Chicago and Washington, D.C. for a long time. And then the Supreme Court overruled that in 2010. And they made it so that people could carry handguns in D.C. and Chicago in 2010. Right after that, the actual crime rate dropped for handguns and murders dropped by 34% in both Chicago and Washington, D.C. So people having guns actually creates a deterrent factor, and liberals don't like to hear that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Oblivion's Blaze, that new Derringer that looks like a cell phone. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that is a pretty interesting cell phone. We saw that last night. Somebody said, have you considered going to law school? You don't need a bachelor's degree. Well, in our state, you actually need to go to law school, or you can partner up with an attorney for 4 years and study on your own. I'd have to be doing a legal aid work for 4 years at an attorney's office, and then I'd have to pass the bar. That's the only way to avoid law school in our state. In Mississippi, you can just pass the bar. You can go in and pass the bar and start practicing law, which is interesting. You know, I'm moving to Mississippi, you know. I'd be the only white attorney out there if I pass the bar.
Yeah.
Well, howdy doody. All right, you allowed 350,000 Russians into Washington State a year. Oh, do we? I didn't realize Washington State's become the armpit of the universe. You're right. This is a very liberal state. In fact, they've offered to provide refuge for 5,000 Syrian refugees this past month. Yeah. We're expecting Syrian refugees to come into our state any minute now. It's not pink. No, this is a white shirt. There's got to be some color in the background that's putting the coat off a little bit. I added color to our face, that's why. Yeah. Well, legal aid means you have to be a legal aid for an attorney for 4 years, partnering up. We actually looked into that for you. At one point, you were thinking of becoming an attorney?
Oh, I was. If if you have your bachelor's degree, you can work for an attorney. You have to find an attorney that will mentor you.
Right.
But if you found an attorney that was willing to do the mentoring, then you wouldn't have to go to law school here in Washington. But all of the work is, you would have to go through just as much work, that it would be very similar.
Yeah, there are so many new families in Bellingham from Russia with 13 or more people per home in them. I ran into that group, actually, up in Bellingham. Yeah. I'm not going to name where I met that group of people, but we had words. I had a verbal conflict with one of the Russian women at a store. It was kind of interesting. Hello, friends from Japan. You know, Mad Dog, I want to see an RFID chipping of the meat process. I want to see all cows RFID chipped so we can track them from birth to death. Yeah. I don't see why we're not doing it right now. Just on their ear. It's not like we're going to be using their ear for processing.
Can you hand me that? No, the thing behind it. Yeah, that.
Yes, okay. Yeah. So I don't mind RFID chipping livestock, but I won't RFID chip human beings. I don't support that idea at all. And we want to downsize the amount of government expense on things like affordable health care. I mean, the website alone is a catastrophe. It's got 138 instances of security breaches to its record. Massive security breaches. And they spent $2 billion on that site, and it's not even working. I think we need to nullify Obamacare, flat out. Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be good to nullify Obamacare, for sure.
So getting, a little bit lower cost healthcare for everybody is what we have in mind. So we've come up with an idea to increase the number of public doctors at the very minimum. This does not affect the private healthcare providers in your area, but there's a lot of hospitals that are public hospitals and nonprofit hospitals that get a kickback. They don't pay taxes. And they're getting away with that kickback without having to comply with certain fixed rates on perhaps your procedures, like an x-ray should be a certain amount at those public hospitals. A doctor's visit should be a certain amount. We shouldn't have to waste a tremendous amount of money on that. Thank you, Jackson. Wisconsin for 2016, thank you. So we want to make sure that the hospitals that are public and nonprofit are on the same plan to get more doctors on board, to lower the cost per visit for everybody. And we've got a really cool idea I want to implement right away as president, through the medical VA system that we have. Currently, our Veterans Administration is kind of bogged down with a lot of red tape, a lot of problems. So the first thing I'm going to tackle is the VA system. We want to create mobile medical units in every city in America, ultimately, but initially 200 of these things that will be able to spider out and rotate around your community, providing you health care in these units. Each unit should cost about roughly about $5 million for each unit. And with 200 of them, I will need $1 billion, and we have that money right now in our Veterans Administration Super Fund. So I can use that fund as the president, as Commander-in-Chief, to initiate this plan, and we will make them available to everybody, including veterans for free, and anyone else with a copay of $30 to get treated. And we'll be able to set casts. We'll have braces on board, supplies of slings, things that we, everyday use kind of things. And we will refer anybody who really needs a serious doctor to, of course, a hospital. But this is going to take the cost of healthcare down considerably, toggling the cost of healthcare to a minimum, which is essential here. The Democrats never tackled the cost. They never stopped the rising cost, and they keep increasing their salaries every year, 18%. Medical healthcare professionals are still making money in this tough economy. Can you believe that?
That's a good question, American tradition. I don't really know why our politicians don't think of this.
Yeah, there's nobody out there running with these great ideas, and when I try to run, they just try to assassinate my character in the press. They do everything. So I've taken on some pretty wild ideas to try to break through the mainstream media's censorship, and even those don't break through in America. We're we've already had national exposure in Japan, but we can't break through to the media here in America. It's too locked down, too censored.
It does seem that way for sure. A lot of effort.
Well, the NHS actually has some problems. You know that NHS in England is actually starting to give away its public sector jobs to private sector. In fact, Richard Branson is taking on a huge contract to do a lot of the NHS work. So NHS is not a gleaming example of a good bureaucracy. Okay, the Baxt is unleashed. Good. It's playing for 1 week only at the Angelica Film Center in New York. The movie Baxt is out. Okay, great. Good to know. I know. All these agencies, we could disband them and break them. Break the back of the corruption that we currently have. Without any kind of oversight over these corrupt agencies like the Fed, the EPA. And I wouldn't be saying the EPA is corrupt if I hadn't seen that massive spill of liquid cyanide into the rivers of Colorado. And it was purposeful. It was done by the EPA to expand out the land that they wanted to offer for gold mining. They use liquid cyanide to gold mine, literally dumping it in our waterways and corrupting our aquifers. And the EPA is okay with that. We got a lot of problems, folks.
They don't have to prescribe anything, cat steals, but to actually see people and to make sure everything's fine with people is a good idea.
I cannot end the lifetime salary for Congress members, Zara Zorf. Yeah, we're not going to be able to stop Congress from giving each other bonuses. They do that every year. I can't control the spending practices of Congress for themselves. As the executive branch has certain powers of implementation, we can hold back any kind of legislation that gives tremendous amounts of money to people, in our government bureaucracy. We can prevent that from happening. But Congress themselves can pad their pockets. That's what they do. That's the inherent problem we have with our corrupt government. Okay. Let's just do this. Hey, thanks for coming in. Want to take a break?
Yeah, I am going to take a break. It's
Thank you.
Time.
All right, great. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and save that. Okay. All right. Yeah. Life is good, right? Doctors do push pharmaceuticals, but our pharmacy is not going to be pushing just reckless pharmaceuticals. We're going to have an onboard pharmacy in the back of every one of these units that will provide basic generic meds. We're not dumping big pharma meds on you. In fact, the cost of medication will be no more than $20 for a set of pills. Personally, I want a $10 minimum wage. I don't think a $15 minimum wage is tenable, but I have a better plan for the $15 living wage. I have a plan to create an infrastructure bank offering 2% loans to U.S. businesses hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. So the 2% loan to companies that want to expand will really be, excellent as long as they adhere to the $15 an hour U.S. citizens should get for their work. This sidesteps the minimum wage conflict we have with Republicans. The Democrats have always fought for a higher minimum wage. Some Republicans want to get rid of the minimum wage completely. No, this is a corporate alternative. In fact, these mobile medical units that the government creates will actually be jobbed out and used, and we will lease our space and our doctors to business. And businesses will see this as a big savings. Like a company like General Motors, they could have one on their lot and end up saving all of the individual insurance costs for every one of their employees. We'll do in-house work for these people. We'll still have a safety net, a catastrophic insurance plan attached to this, but this would be a sidestep for a lot of big businesses, and they'll lease the units. The government gets money back. I believe that East Coast, West Coast might need $15 an hour, but everything I've seen shows that people lose jobs when that happens. So far, over 250,000 jobs have been lost due to the $15 minimum wage, and areas like Chicago and Seattle. Yeah, if you gave $15 an hour, they'd have to raise your wage to $21 an hour. Exactly. Oh man, somebody made their own braces. You want some Sponheim dancing, huh? Yeah, we got to do something. You know, the problem is we've got money managers like Donald Trump giving money out to their cronies. We don't have real job production growth in America. A guy like Trump is going to look at every single job as something they could outsource, like he does with his ties and his belts. He doesn't even know where they make these things. He struggled with the answer to that question on a couple of talk shows. But the kind of work that we need are jobs that will continue to sustain themselves in this country. And you need to find a job that you enjoy. Like if you're a landscaper, that's a service-oriented job. That's something many of you would, really enjoy. Why would you want to work your butt off as a landscaper when you could make the same changing napkins at a dinner table? Right, exactly. You don't want to be kicked up to $21 an hour as there, Azorfish. Your methamphetamine production plant, Captain Howdy, is totally illegal. You realize you could serve hard time for making meth? Yeah. No, I'm fully aware of the puppet strings around the big pharma industry cat's tail. That's why I want to see generic medicine served at these locations. Yeah, you're missing my whole point. If you don't understand that generic meds are going to be much cheaper than regular big pharma meds, we're going to kick them in their butt in an area that really is kind of a void right now. The generic medicine business is not necessarily going to take money away from big pharma, but it'll open up an opportunity for a lot of people to get generic meds. And that would include, now this is one of the ways we're going to get money back for these mobile medical units. That would include marijuana. Because it's the first thing I'm going to do is legalize marijuana. We'll have enough money back in the system, and whenever people go to the mobile medical unit, they can actually buy some bud, a gram of bud. Yeah. You understand? Now, I know you don't support marijuana. We know that. But many people do. And many people would be willing to get into this. And you can imagine how this is going to turn into a viral opportunity for a lot of people who want to build their income. It's already happening in states like Washington. So the back of the unit will have a medical pharmaceutical with generic medicine in it. Automated pill machine. Pillomatic. Along with the medical marijuana, and one person standing there going, "So, what's your high? One toke over the line. Sweet Jesus, one toke over the line." Yeah, so a lot of you will be really happy that the mobile medical unit will be coming around your neighborhood once every week. You'll be able to get a gram for probably around $10. Or less, even less. I mean, it should be like $5. Yeah, but again, it's illegal in a lot of states. So we can't, other than politically talk about it, we can't encourage you to do this. But we know that the numbers speak for themselves, that 58% of the country, when asked, want to legalize recreational. 28 grams are in an ounce. Okay, Chet, you're a little off on your whole assessment. Yeah, so technically, if you got a $10 per gram, it's 280 an ounce. That's what they're pulling 280 an ounce in our area, and they have to pay taxes up the yin yang for that pot. So the state of Washington is probably making 75% taxes. So they're really scraping away the profit for a lot of the people who are in it, but they're still making money. These companies are still staying in business because they are able to move enough volume. The model here in Washington is not as good as the model in Colorado, where the state doesn't take as much money. But do you imagine how this will revolutionize their healthcare industry, which is sucking us dry? Medicaid is just ripping people off big time. Doctors are pretty much charging Medicaid the full measure, and Medicaid pays back whatever they can, but the doctors, how they get around it is they tell you to come in for, an appointment every 3 months. So they've got all these Medicaid recipients going, well, come back in 3 months and I'll give you another checkup, and they get the $100 visit charge. I know people that go to a foot doctor on Medicaid, And their foot doctor says, yeah, give me a call. I'll be ready to do it in 3 months. And Medicaid still covers the bill for a foot job. I mean, what possible thing can a podiatrist do to make $100? I mean, a foot soak in one of the local malls in a massage center would cost you $45. They don't even give you a massage in these podiatrists. You want a foot job? Yeah, Hydra's good. The rules are made, the people follow them, and when more money can be made by those that benefit most, then amendments are made to the rules. Okay. What do you might as well call you truism, Mr. Truism? Well, the money is really a big motivating factor, and that's true. Without money, you yourself wouldn't want to, enjoy life. What if I told you you could have your own house? And then if you own that house outright after 10 years of making payments, you would own your own house. It would be great. You wouldn't have to make all that rent payment that you're paying right now. So you wouldn't need as much money. So that's kind of what we're talking about, back to the basics. It's not something that'll happen overnight, but it is something that could happen over a period of time. If you work in the system, you can't just get a free house. Yeah, Admiral, you're kind of messing with people here tonight. I'm not sure what your goal is, but having good chat etiquette is really important. And if you can't straighten up your act towards some of our other supporters, then you may be banned from the show, man. Hey, hello, green-eyed girl. I'm doing okay. Nice to see you're in. Thank you. Well, you don't have to believe weed should be legalized on a federal level. Let me tell you, our country spends $26 billion a year seizing marijuana crops. Don't you think we should be working on cultivating crops and selling them and refining them and getting international export dollars for those things? I mean, why would we just seize crops? And we would save $26 billion a year if we just stopped doing that. You made it again. Yes, you did. Yeah, $26 billion on DEA interdiction in marijuana in America. That's not even overseas. That's just in the U.S. They spent a lot of money on those guys to run around rousting people who are growing some marijuana. So a full recreational legalization will open up all kinds of opportunity. Many of you have kids that are going, I don't know what I want to do, Dad. And you're going, I know, son. I know we can't afford to get you a 4-year education. Well, I like to see things grow, Dad. Well, heck, So once we open that up, they're going to want to grow marijuana in your backyard. And there won't be any laws against it once we legalize it. That'll open up revenue for your youngster, and he'll be able to sell that product. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Of course we need to legalize marijuana. Our president, he's even admitted he smoked most of his adult life. It kind of missed the mainstream media, though, but he said it. He even said he smoked crack in his book, Audacity of Hope. Now, I'm reluctant to even call him my president because he's done such a horrible job. But I guess he might be your president. Technically, we are a nation run under a corporation called the United States Corporation. So he could probably have been appointed his job. So Jared got a job making sandwiches in prison. Wow. Apparently his roughing up in prison recently, he had a big, huge battle where he got beat up. Many people are wondering what Jared's going to do. Apparently they gave him a job. The elite cafeteria where Jared Vogel makes Subway pitchman. Yeah, he's making sandwiches now. Serving his time. That's not true, Captain Howdy. That's just an untrue statement. Yeah, it's been the U.S. corporation since the Act of 1871. And that United States corporation essentially took over control March 9th, 1933, when the United States of America was bankrupt. Now, we're still bankrupt as the United States of America. The laws that apply to the election are still being adhered to by the United States corporation only in a superficial way. They don't adhere to the actual They don't adhere to the actual Constitution. They have administrative law the United States corporation adheres to. So they are not adhering to the Bill of Rights. It doesn't apply to you. Many of you don't realize that our country's been run by a corporation, and most judges are administrative arbiters. They're not judges. They're just complete hand-picked. They work for the court system. They're not working in an objective manner. So we've got a lot of problems with this shadow government that's been formed. Yeah. So that's the truth. We've got a huge problem there. And all the mainstream media approved candidates don't talk about what I'm talking about right now. They won't even mention it because they really don't understand it. But the real reality is our country actually has close to $40 trillion in gold held for us and overseen by the Federal Reserve, a private corporation. It's in trust for the United States at the World Bank. Where at the World Bank, I don't know. And I don't think anyone really wants to come forth and say where it is. But getting the Fed out of our country, ending the Fed, will begin the process of getting that gold back. We may never get the gold back. In lieu of that, we have to write off the debt. And a lot of people around the world who think that we owe them, and I'm not including Japan or China in that statement. A lot of the old money, the monarchs that have been paid in full already, are expecting more. They won't get any money. Unless we can see the gold that we have and trust for us by the Federal Reserve. It's probably been stolen. Yeah. But the truth is, the gold that was acquired from Japan and Germany during World War II is being held in trust at the World Bank for us. We're not really in debt to $19 trillion. We're really not. Once we get that gold. But yeah, it's a huge, huge problem that we're going to have to grapple with. The good thing about the president is he is the only person in the world that can actually open up our treasury and look at the exchange stabilization fund. There's nobody else in government who can do that. Now, no president has done that since FDR. But Barack Obama has not bothered. Nobody's done it. But I will be going after that exchange stabilization fund and looking at it, and looking at the black books, essentially, of the Treasury. It's going to be a real eye-opener. But that's the kind of president you're electing. Not a guy who's in the back pocket of corporations that don't want anyone to look at that secret fund. All right. So I just want you to know that I'm not a shill. I'm not some corporate mouthpiece like Barack Obama is, or Donald Trump is, or Hillary Clinton is. Yeah, we could easily do that, DJ Bad Boy, and that's our go-to position. Poof. Erase the debt. It's done. We have a very strong economy. People want to trade with us even right now. When the world economy is beginning to collapse, our dollar is very strong, very buoyant. No, Medicare won't cover any of that. If you have a plan with us, our public option, we'll give you free medical care at any public hospital or nonprofit hospital. But you'd have to pay into the public option, which is $60 a month. That's what I'm proposing. Not $600 a month or $1,200 a month right now. Right now, the public option is around $700. It's not even a public option. It's a premium health care plans are costing around $700 a month. Yeah. Versus $60 for this plan. Keeping it real, Cheesy Weezy. Thank you. All right. Oh, Zerasaurus says they'll just kill Dave. Seriously. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, they'll try. Absolutely. They would try to do that. Absolutely. So would you rather have a dishonest, corrupt man to run the country and continue supporting a new world order? I mean, what are your choices? I have only one choice, and that's the right choice. I'm willing to sacrifice my life to straighten this country out. What's the point of living in a state of tyranny and siege by corporate elitists and police state? We need to disassemble this police state. We need to do it rather soon because it's getting worse and worse, and they're just getting the pins all ready to just knock down. It's like they're setting up a huge bowling ball game, and you're the pins. And they're just going to throw the bowling ball at you. I love medium rare steak with A1 sauce. Yeah, that's good stuff. It's hard to find a good tender steak nowadays. I recommend a lot of you that simply tenderize, you know. If you tenderize a steak for a good 2 days, it'll be tender no matter how tough it is. But you've got to get papaya or something with a tenderizer in it. Garlic powder, onion powder, and a little vinegar helps. Yeah, and then homeopaths are being murdered at an alarming rate. You're right, Amarut. Yeah, the holistic doctors that have died, trying to expose the dangers of vaccinations, and miracle cures for cancer are being suppressed by the Food and Drug Administration. It's so screwed up, it's unreal. And none of the stories that I've talked about tonight get to the mainstream media. I don't have any money like that. CIA bloopers. Yeah. I don't profess to be a billionaire or a millionaire. Yes, and BLM, Bureau of Land Management, is selling off national forests to China. I know. We've got the worst possible people in government right now that are willing to sell our country off piecemeal just to finance next month's big contract budget. So it's very screwed up when you've got the worst possible people running your country. No, I'm not a trillionaire either. What I'm doing is simply impossible. Most people would think that this is an utter waste of time. And for the most part, it really is an unbelievable task to generate buzz on the internet when I'm being censored. Well, I'm sacrificing my life simply running for president, FJJ18. Yeah. I mean, I've got potential for assassinations. I've got 50 death threats on record. And it seems like local law enforcement doesn't really care that much. I give them information. They don't seem to get back to me. You know, I don't in any way hate secular people. Yeah. I'm not either a non-secular or a secular person. I'm not religious at all. But I do believe in God, and I have a personal relationship with the Lord. So we lost a really good person, Patty Duke, 69, died of sepsis, intestinal problem that she was suffering from. And this woman, Sally Miller, says that Bill Clinton snorted coke off her coffee table. And I played this story for you earlier.
And he didn't ever really have a strong father figure. And I think he felt like he could talk to me like he would talk to his mother. We laughed a lot and we had fun. Of course, he didn't need it, but I think maybe it had become a habit that he smoked marijuana and that he did coke. Actually, I just realized this is a table. It's funny, just sitting here, all my furniture I've collected through the years, but this is the couch he sat on, that's the table. When he did coke, he brought a little, like a woman's cosmetic case. That's the only thing I can describe. And he put it down here, pushed everything aside, because he was a little bit bigger than me. And he rolled it out, and there was this little mat. And he sprinkled this white powder. I was sitting across the way. I was just fascinated because it had a little straw. And he leaned over and, in each nostril, took a few big snorts and felt better, I guess, because he had a big smile on his face. And I asked him if he did coke because it was almost like a stimulant. He said it just made him feel better. Gave him more power, made him feel courageous. And
well, no wonder he was such a courageous president. Wow. What did he do that was so courageous? Okay, so she was talking about Bill Clinton. Okay, salary for life for members of Congress is something I cannot end. The Constitution expressly denies the ability to raise one's salary. Well, I know, but they passed an amendment to the Constitution, Zaroff. Yeah. They passed an amendment to the Constitution that allows Congress to amend their salaries. Again, a president can't overturn Congress on legislation they pass. giving themselves raises. We've got a crony Congress, okay? They're going to give each other raises. They're never going to pass term limits. We support term limits on our website. You can see it on our platform at AmericasThirdParty.com. But they're never going to take away their perks. We need to vote them out of office. It's that simple. It's incredibly simple, but it's complicated. The American people can't get consensus. We seem to be logged down in a morass of dumbing down and apathy, and people just don't believe in anything anymore. So they're literally using techniques on our brains that are lowering our inclination to do anything. So you may be sitting here saying, yeah, we've got to do something, but you may not be able to get up out of your chair and do something. Well, if you want to sit there in your chair, you can cut and paste AmericasThirdParty.com and websites to help us if you can't afford to send a donation. And we don't get very many donations anymore because I know a lot of you are really hurting for money. I get that. It's not a problem. And I'm not here to get your money. I'm limited to what I can do as a presidential candidate based on whatever money we have in our coffer, which we report on a quarterly basis to the FEC. We have an FEC.gov accountability that we keep up with. We're completely 100% compliant with the FEC. Technically, this could be a third party for 2016. But the American people just don't have the will to take it to that next level. And the censorship is so great that it's almost impossible to get past that bridge. But we're doing it, but it's slow. I don't make money at all. I've not made a penny on anything we've done in years. All of this is just simply because I believe in what I'm doing. Well, morally, we must try to vote these people out. We have to attempt the nonviolent approach before we advance to a bloody revolution. Thank you, Cat's Tail. I'm glad you realize that. The last thing we want to do is create a violent insurrection. That's something that would not be good for our country, obviously. Ironically, that's what they want, though. They want to trigger martial law. They're looking for that opportunity. They would love it if the American people, freaked out and took guns out and started shooting at people. That would be an instant chance to bring the UN in here and implement the New World Order. They would gradually assimilate our nation using UN forces, and we would essentially just be a subsidiary of the Belgium elitists. We are technically right now, being the Fed is operating our central bank, and they owe the World Bank all their credit and note and debt drafts. It all goes to the World Bank. So the whole thing is a complete ridiculous conspiracy, which has been around in our country so long it's become a fixture. Well, the only way we can stop the New World Order from forming is to pull the leg out from underneath them. America will not be a part of the New World Order when I become president. We'll become a nation unto ourselves, a service economy with a strong protectionist approach toward economic trade with other countries. Not an isolationist, mind you, but a protectionist nation, which is then less active internationally, causing wars, less economic hits on other countries, which pulls their power out of their pocket. They don't have a strong militia. They've got us. And we comprise 75% of NATO. So if the President of the United States pulls troops out of NATO, they got nothing. If we pull our troops out of the UN, they got nothing. We're basically the kingpin police force around the world. And we're being nurtured as a mindless, dumbed-down police force. So we've got many more viewers than that, I assure you. Yeah, we've got over 100,000 viewers tonight. Thank you for watching. Arigato. We're being broadcast live in Japan. And this is an ongoing thing, and they love us. They think it's great. But I have to dance more, and they want to see me dance.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop. We can't stop, we can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop.
So let's be clear.
In this coming election year, please vote for David Sponheim. America's Third Party.
Sondheim for president.
gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, you know you want it. Can't stop, and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, can't stop.
First we hit 'em low, then we hit 'em high. Underrated, but we made it to the finish line. Rhymes designed to combine and intertwine. Spring to the summer, fall, even winter time. Beats banging harder, then head-on collisions. We make incisions with precision and quick decisions. Causing double visions if you ain't up to speed. You need to speed it up, partner, piano read.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, we can't stop, can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, can't stop, can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, we can't stop. We can't stop, we can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop.
In this coming election year, please vote for David Sponheim. America's Third Party.
Can't stop, can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, can't stop. Can't stop, can't stop.
Thank you very much. That felt good. Yeah. So we are unique to the two-party system. We actually want to bring our troops home. We don't believe that ISIS is a terrible threat. We believe a lot of the stories about ISIS are make-believe, and they're coming out of the Hillary-Obama camp. And the CIA probably generated the original ISIS forces. So we have a completely different view about the origin of terrorism as we are led to believe it exists. Now, there are real terrorists in the world. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to go light on defense. I'm very strong in defense. But we're going to get rid of very useless tools that we have, like the TSA. We'll bring our troops home, and they will have jobs in America. You know, plainclothes men and women who work in the National Guard and Coast Guard can work at our airports instead of the TSA. And that means cheaper flights for all of you, because less of that money is going to be going down the drain paying the TSA, a bunch of rent-a-cops, time to sit there and masturbate while they watch X-ray pictures of all of us walking through the rapid scanners. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. So we'll be able to get rid of the massive police state that Obama and Bush created, saving the government money on that, because we're already paying for these military personnel. We wouldn't need another $7 billion to go out to the TSA. So a lot of changes like this where we make better use of your tax dollars. And that's not something the two parties are even able to understand. I'm not being investigated or monitored by the government. That's ridiculous. Why would they monitor and investigate me? I've done nothing wrong in my entire life. They can look at my rap sheet. I have nothing on my rap sheet. Zero. You're welcome to do a background check on me, Captain Howdy. Feel free. Well, Sarah is going to be running as my VP running mate right now. If that changes and she wants to be my chief of staff and somebody else wants to be my VP running mate, that'd be fine too. But we are doing this together. We've been starting our America's Third Party for the past 7 years, so we're pretty much focused on just building this party and getting me on the ballot for this upcoming election to spike the news. We've got to get our name into the news. It's a huge obstacle. So your vote's going to count tremendously toward the 2020 election at the very least. But if we can pull enough signatures in 2016, we can actually beat the two parties. It may come down to a write-in candidacy, and forcing a recount is the only way to get any accountability from these people, because they're able to cheat. They're able to actually rig the Diebold voting system. And the only way they can't rig it is if we have written names on every single ballot. Thanks for offering, Chad. We're totally average Americans who are law-abiding citizens and have done the right thing all of our lives, and we just really believe that we need honest people in government. It's a very minimalistic idea, but the bigger picture is How do you retain that honesty throughout an entire presidency? And the key is to not be buyable. I never wanted children because they would be going through too much stress right now. You can help me, yeah. Help me with your 357. Just go ahead and promote our show every night, Chet. That'd be great. Okay, so Bumblebee has recalled 31,000 cases of tuna for possible contamination. Look at that. Are you one of those tuna recipients? They had some major issues with the supplier. Tainted fish went in some of the cans. Yeah, so if I had a child, it would have suffered tremendous emotional abuse remember when I was swatted? Can you imagine what my child would have said? Daddy, why are you laying on the ground cuffed? Daddy, what did you do, Daddy? Or they would have been taking my child into custody. Can you imagine how difficult that would have been on the child? For no reason. I've never done anything wrong. So we've got a lot of problems with the government that does this to the people. And that's one of my pet peeves. I don't want reckless use of local police officers swatting people in their homes. Your home is your castle. It should be a place that, yeah, I'm going to open guest up now. It should be a place where people have, privacy, but not really, not anymore. It seems like your place is open season. I remember one of the cops said, hey, how long have you been living here? Kind of like that. How long have you been living here? Talking about my house, my home, a place where I have lived for 20 years. How long have you been living here? 20 years. Oh. It's like they don't even care. Yeah. No, I don't enjoy being manhandled by anybody. Grizzly Ray is contending that Hillary Clinton is a murderer. There's a lot of people that have done research on this and found that the Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton relationship attracted a lot of dead people. Okay? And they call it the Clinton death count. And if you go online, you can actually research this fairly quickly. The Clinton death count is right there for you to look at. There it is. WhatReallyHappened.com has a list of about 50 people that have all died. Mysterious deaths, all of them tied directly to knowing information about the Clintons. Every one of their deaths had every one of the people dead had some key information the Clintons absolutely could not get out. Well, it's credible enough. Ron Jones. Hey, what's up? Yeah, what's up? What do you want to say? Okay, yeah, just Google that name, Clinton death count. You'll get where you want to go. William Colby, yeah, Director of Central Intelligence. He had been the DCI from 73 to 76 under Nixon and Ford. At age 76, Colby had found a new career and had just started writing for Strategic Investment at the time of his death. This had worried many insiders in the intelligence community who felt that Colby had already divulged too many of the CIA's secrets in the preceding years. Indeed, his dismissal by Ford because of his over-cooperation with congressional investigations into CIA wrongdoing. This is the guy that actually allowed Senator Frank Church to go deep into the dark recesses of the CIA and uncover this thing called Operation Mockingbird, which is a CIA operation to control the media. And Senator Frank Church actually went out of his way to reveal this to the American people, and it didn't go very far. I mean, we got to see it on TV once, maybe. So this idea that William Colby, former Director of Central Intelligence, knew too much was probably the reason why he died. But here's Senator Frank Church on Operation Mockingbird.
I thought that it was a matter of real concern that planted stories intended to serve a national purpose abroad came home and were circulated here and believed here, because this would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. Now, we're looking at that very carefully.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal?
We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
Do you?
So they admitted it. They do have people, and this had to go into private session at that point, but Colby was the guy that just spoke, and he's dead. So there's a lot to the story about the Clinton death count. And all these people have secret information on related to the Clintons. All right, so let's move on here. Let's talk about the Egyptian plane hijacking today. Yeah, I don't have a lot of information on it. The hijackers in custody, all the passengers have been evacuated. Officials call him an idiot. He's not even a terrorist. That's the end result. Okay? Is that enough for you? All right. Thank you. That's my comment on the Egyptian hijacking. Patty Duke probably suffered a ruptured intestine and didn't get to a doctor quick enough. I don't know what could have happened that would have caused that. Sometimes it's diverticulitis. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you. Sometimes somebody might have gone overboard with a series of meds. Who knows? It doesn't sound good. I'd love to know more about what happened to her, but she's gone. She's 69. She's dead. Too young to die. Well, that's not exactly nice, Jojo. So, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Yeah, CIA, thank you. Talking about the CIA. We could talk about the CIA, but that's really talking about falsehoods, not the truth. It's fairly young, 69. She should have lived to be 78 by U.S. standards. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are upsetting right now in this world. But I hope she rests in peace. There's a lot of underlying agendas going on in our country right now. Bernie's gaining some ground against Hillary because he keeps coming out against the bankers. But did you know that the police never arrest bankers, politicians, nor ask them for any ID? It's because they work for them, and you're considered the enemy and the biggest threat to the New World Order. Right. You, just an average person, is the enemy. And Bernie is he has lack of knowledge. He doesn't understand. I mean, somebody finally said, Bernie, what about the Illuminati? And he was like bumbling. He's like, what did he say? What did he say about the Illuminati? Who is this Illuminati you're talking about? Illuminati? We're going to stop this group that you're calling the Illuminati. We're going to do something about them. We're going to make sure they take their money away from them. Sorry. I mean, come on. He doesn't even know what they're talking about. Share this channel right now. You can multicast this channel. Yes, you can grab it right off AmericasThirdParty.com and process it on another channel and run it right through your computer. If you really want to spread the message, you could actually do whatever you want at Alice's restaurant. I'm sorry I screamed. Well, I was just doing my little Bernie impersonation. Yeah, share this channel like they're doing in Japan right now. I've got over 100,000 viewers. Thank you. You guys can do the same. Maybe you could be as strong as Japan has been in helping, support our message. And stocks outside Japan are jumping. Ironically, Japan stocks have not jumped, but the Japanese stocks are still really kind of in a lull. Shinzo Abe's investment of $600 billion last year has not really kicked in so far in Japan, but Asian stocks outside of Japan tracked a surge in the U.S., and bonds climbed after Federal Reserve Chairman Janet Yellen reasserted the central bank's gradual approach to raising interest rates. Janet Yellen. Yeah. She doesn't exactly inspire a lot of anything. I'm not really sure what her deal is. Yeah, she's not that inspirational. Let's listen to her. Go ahead, Janet. You're on.
Inflation will return, and the influence of lower energy prices and inflation below our goal.
Janet. Earth to Janet. Hello. This is why she doesn't inspire people. She's still quiet on the stage. I mean, how can you get behind this kind of a global elitist?
I expect this to occur as the temporary factors that are currently weighing on inflation wane, provided that economic growth continues to be strong enough to complete the return of the economy to full employment.
Oh yeah, she's really inspiring me, yeah. That's almost like asking Hillary Clinton for the truth. It's like, you know, Hillary, so what is the truth, really?
Point does it make? What difference at this point does it make?
You're right. What difference does the truth make now? After you ignored the truth for about, 4 years now? She wasn't trying to say anything, Jojo. That's the point. She's a puppet. Yeah. Thank you, Heavy Stuff. I appreciate that, man. White people are not the devil. Well, many people who have been on controlled medication for a long time talk like Janet Yellen. You try taking Valium for years, and try not talking like that. If they made me the chairman of the Federal Reserve and I was on heavy Valium, I'd be like, I want everyone to know that I'm going to help lower interest rates. Raise interest rates. Yeah, I'm not sure she's on Valium, but she does appear to be on Valium. Is that Ted Cruz? Really? I don't know what he is. Is he Christian? Is he a man dating a former prostitute? What's going on? Is he a Christian man dating a former prostitute and he doesn't want to admit it? Or is Donald Trump out of line when he accused his wife of being a former? But wait a second, Donald Trump's wife, Melania, posed naked, butt naked in magazines. So, why is he calling Ted Cruz out, married to a woman? Obviously, that's derogatory to claim she's a former prostitute. It's ridiculous. Where's the proof? All right. I think Janet Yellen was put in play as a puppet, much like Ben Bernanke. I don't think anybody can compete with Bernie's wife. When you put Melania up against Bernie's wife, Bernie's wife tops Melania, in my opinion. Let's take a look. Well, that's all you had to say to just get out of the show. That's good. Nice having you in, Supermarket Groper. The one thing he said was, this show is crap. Okay. Bernie's wife she's a knockout. You'd have to be knocked out to not think so. Let's take a look at Bernie's wife, everybody, and compare Bernie's wife to Melania. Here we go. Face-to-face comparison. I've got a limiter on my channel, folks. I only get a certain number of viewers here. Vaughn is censoring me. So if you're wondering, okay, here's Melania. And here's Bernie's wife. You decide who is a better looking woman. She is 100% woman, I'll tell you. There you go. Okay. We got a slam down competition of who's the best looking future First Lady. We got a woman right here who posed naked, butt naked in magazines, who has absolutely one thing on her mind, and that's money. And then you got Bernie's wife, who probably is in charge of the checking book because Bernie doesn't handle it too well, who manages money probably pretty well, and who doesn't in any way appear to be a woman who is ostentatious. And who's going to win this competition? And then you got the best looking woman on earth, who's never posed naked, never done anything like that. And then you've got her beautiful face. And I'm going to show you the one and only Sarah. This is her just taking a look at the other two. Yeah, I don't know. The natural beauty of Sarah is surpassing both of these women, I think. Well, all I'm trying to do is give you guys some perspective, all right? Don't vote Trump because he simply wants to be Hitler. He even read Hitler's speeches next to his bed, according to his wife. Yes, and you're not allowed to promote Trump here. Yeah. I know. Isn't that wonderful? No, I'm not. I'm not cheating on anybody. Yeah, let's get a centrist in the presidency. I agree. And if you want to say 20 plus reasons now not to vote for Trump, simply go to our Ready website. That should do it. Let's see if that goes to our site. Make a change, baby. Yeah, that's it. And on that, you've got the wonderful link to Melania naked, which is not a reason to not vote for Trump, but I added it because it's right there. The list goes on and on. Okay, Roy Cohn, most troubling Trump link you'll ever read. That's right there. How much do we really know about Trump? Questions. Copter crash. Did you know three of his top financial advisors that were involved in his first bankruptcy crashed in a helicopter that he was going to be on, allegedly? I can't confirm that. The story's so old, but the New York Times ad should be there. Let's see if they purge that. There have been some links that have fallen dead off of this. Let's see if it's still dead. Good, it's still there. Okay, the copter crash story is still there. 5 people, including 3 high-level executives of Donald J. Trump's 3 casinos in Atlantic City, were killed yesterday when their helicopter crashed in Pine Woods on the Garden State Parkway. Now, this was in 1989. I'm not saying anyone's implicated in this case. It's basically an accident. It went down as an accident, but it's pretty weird the way these guys knew so much about the operations and they're dead. You know, somebody asked Donald Trump recently why his top financial advisor was a known felon, and he denied ever even knowing his top financial advisor. I'm not charging anybody anything for being in the channel. I just want you guys to talk about politics. You know that. Okay, cool. Yeah, lots of things to not talk about. Someday we'll probably be doing a show and we'll be told that we only have these things we can talk about. I envision the day when I'll have to pay to do this, just to go on the air. I'll have to pay big bucks just to broadcast. And I will be limited to the number of things I can talk about. If I mention the word vaxxing, they'll kick me off, like the Tribeca Film Festival. They'll kick me right off the show. Well, we don't have mods anymore because we gave them up, 627. Yeah, the fact of the matter is, I mod everything in here because, yeah, I'm not in any way allowing death threats or incredibly demoralizing statements, but other statements that are alleged statements are okay. Yeah, 129 people share this channel now. Let's make a difference. Thanks, guest 123. You're smoking too much pot and you're very paranoid? I've never had that problem. I don't like smoking pot. It kind of bums me out to, think that you guys are smoking pot. When you're basically, it's demotivational. You should try vaping. It's a lot better. You don't get the dangerous resins, I didn't even know there was a delay on this channel until I found out that Vaughn has been censoring me here. THC stands for too high to care. There you have it, yeah. You don't look stoned at all? Really? I'm covering pretty well, aren't I? Not only do I think chemtrails are real, they are real. What do you mean? David thinks chemtrails are real. Oh my God, I got so much chemtrail stuff I could just throw at you right now. Let me go there right now. Take me to Chemtrail Central. Take me to the place. Yeah, yes. First we have cowbell. I've got to watch, my weight. It's difficult. I've noticed that this winter I picked up about 5 pounds. I can't believe it. I was like, wow. I don't have any chemicals in my body. I do a thing called an ion cleanse every week. So my chemicals are actually leaving my body. I very rarely eat anything or drink anything that's polluted. Yep. And I do a thing called ion cleanse. All right. These are chemtrails spraying blood. Okay. Chemtrails spraying blood. Da 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 da. Chemtrails spraying blood. Da 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 da. There it is. Yeah, that's what you're not supposed to know. Chemtrails spraying blood. Tainted blood over a populated area. The suit is not pink. It's simply a white suit that I've got a pink coloring to my face. Somebody said I looked a little bit pale, so I added some pink. Well, let's be clear. Dave has to be strong to put up with these evil people harassing him like they were demons trying to destroy him every day after day. Boy, you said a mouthful there, CI bloopers. I don't know what Mark is voting for. The one percenters. He wants to vote for either Hillary or Trump. Yes, the Illuminati spraying blood. They found some really tainted blood supplies, so they just wanted to drop it on everybody. And here's a near-miss collision with a regular U.S. Air Force plane. They don't even publish where they're going to be flying these chemtrails. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we have another picture of chemtrails. Yeah, there they are. So remember Lavoy Finicum when he was taken out? Well, they're trying to put together a $4 million.
Many people are comparing the brother.
A $4 million cleanup of.
All right, guys. I just wanted to share this propaganda.
Propaganda. They're putting a $4 million price tag on cleaning up after Lavoy Finicum got killed. Dude, I've been hip all my life. Yeah, in fact, I was hipper than hip in the 1960s. Don't ever accuse me of being unhip. God, man. You realize I'm 55, right? The story of chemtrails. In your lungs right now are, and everyone has these, are actual fiberglass shards. Yeah, the government decided it would be an interesting experiment to take and heat up shards of fiberglass really hot and then fracture them and then put them in airbags and spray them. So yeah, we're breathing shards of fiberglass. Aluminum. Oh, this story is better, yeah. Gold took big pickup, $1,238 an ounce. Silver is still hovering, but a little bit up. Dow Jones increased significantly to 17,633. No. Yeah, I'll take a little break. Chemtrails are actually going to be a big, huge discussion well into the future. And I'm putting my stake down on that issue. I'm the only candidate running against chemtrails. Yeah, they're going to take $4 million to clean up the Malheur refugee following a militia occupation. Then when Lavoy Finicum got taken out, they're now going to try to take out $4 million of your tax money. Okay. No, actually, we've got tons of people around the world following us. And by the way, Vaughn is keeping people from coming into the show. In case you're wondering, my numbers are low, because he's got a limiter on the number of people he'll allow into the show. If any of you have a hard time seeing our video, go to AmericasThirdParty.com to watch it in full view. We've got the BCAM network playing at the same time. Yeah, and here's a video documentation revealing commercial aircraft spraying chemtrails to a warm climate. I'll play that right after I get back here. Sarah's going to come in and talk, though.
Yeah, David definitely believes in chemtrails, or I should say he believes in ending chemtrails. So that's, he's the only candidate out there even talking about the issue, because he doesn't believe things should be sprayed in the skies that, people don't agree to. Why should you have things sprayed above your skies? So, maybe David will bring that in, Darth, when he comes back in. So that would be good. Hello, Rick. Do I believe in chemtrails? I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. I still tend to believe that a lot of things are contrails instead, but that's just me. I've noticed that African Sheen hair products do have some really good products in them, which is very good. So I have used it. Braid Sheen spray, I've used it in the past. Yes. Well, I don't plan on actually having a child myself, which is fine. No, I'm not available to rent. Thank you. Well, it made my hair pretty curly, which was really good. I probably should, CIA bloopers. I'm not sure if I really want to take over Northern Africa like Alexander the Great, but I really did like his idea of pushing more education, and I like the Library of Alexandria that he built, so that was good. His name is forever remembered. That is true, and there's a lot of people want to be that way. They want to have their name remembered forever. I believe I'm capable of producing a child, but I just don't want to do so. Didn't realize. Oh. Huh. My Easter was really quite nice. We had a turkey dinner for Easter, and it was very good. I think that it would be interesting to put our any new prisons that we build down along the border, which would be, because then currently that's where they use lethal electric fences in prison systems. So we could, if we do build a new prison system, we could build it along the southern border. like, support it how? It exists 803. That's all I can say to that. My suggestions for single women. Love your life. Do what you want. Enjoy it. And always use protection. That's my advice for any single person, I guess. I'm sure they could 885. I have had one or two Cornish game hens, which was pretty good. They're pretty small, though. Very small. Well, I hope he gets lots of good ideas, Grizzly Ray. Well, I think that any rights, we already have, 14th Amendment, which is good, that any states that pass any laws have to give equal protection under the laws, and I think that should apply to people regardless of their orientation. Yeah, well, that's true. TV2, then it becomes Mexico's problem, I suppose, right? So, there you go, if they really want to escape. Yes, I understand heavy stuff, but I hope to encourage education so that it's not just my child that will benefit the future, because I don't plan on having children. So it's many people, the future generation. I hope to help them learn and succeed in life. That would be cheaper, wouldn't it, Meow TV2? But then there would be this whole issue about deportation, etc., etc. David will be back shortly. Wow. You think, sometimes it does seem like there's a huge emphasis on testing, Grizzly Ray. So perhaps if the testing if there weren't so many demands with the testing, then I think it would be okay. I do the best job that I can, Heavy. I just take each day and do the best job that I can. It is what it is. No, he's just taking a small break. Sauce Kit. David will be back shortly, don't worry. That's what I do. I give David a couple of breaks during his show because I know he is, he's taking his, he gives me a lot of breaks, so that's good. I've never taken a Mensa test. I did, however, get a scholarship from Mensa. So that was kind of nice. Instead of me giving Mensa money, they gave me money. Mensa gave me a little bit of money to go to school. So that was very nice. Yes. Darn, I know. You knew it. All right, so there's a liberal feminist women attacking centrist women. No one should be attacking anyone, really. If people stopped attacking each other, the world would be a much better place. No, Mensa is it's usually for, it's like an intellectual society. You have to have a certain IQ to actually, in order to apply for Mensa, you have to have a certain IQ. So it's that's what it is. Wow, I don't think of men that way. No, I think you have to actually pass one of their tests to get into Mensa, if that's what you're asking, 385. can think anything that you want to about me. Oh, the online one is easy, and then they give you the real one, and it's like, yikes! I never applied, so it's just interesting. My opinion on legalizing fishing off bridges. Well, I have a little bit of a problem with that as far as fishing off bridges, because I'm only going to say this because so there's 2 bridges near that I've lived near, and this doesn't apply to all or even most bridges. Well, but there's a bridge I drive over, and then there's another bridge. So anyway, most of the bridges that have transportation like cars, vehicles going over them, if you were to fish off of those, I wouldn't want the fish hooks interfering with the driving, with the drivers, so I can't say that that would be a good thing. If it's a bridge, like it's an only walking bridge, that would be a different issue. But if you're talking about a bridge with passengers, I can't say I'm going to legalize that. I think that's on a case-by-case issue. Well, I know people aren't intentionally going to fish for a car, but if you have an angler and they pull their fishing pole back and the line goes back, and then anyway, I think it could become a problem. All right. If you're fly fishing, usually when you're fly fishing, though, don't they want to actually be down in the water? Hello, I'm doing pretty good. I think it would be fantastic if I think it would be fantastic if school buses had solar panels. That would be very good. All right. Darth, I never said anything of the sort. And I don't know where you went from Mensa to that conversation, Amaroots. You guys kind of have these big leaps in your conversation. Yeah, great chat. What are you talking about, Sauce Kid? Oh, well, David talks about chemtrails. That's it. I know. Thank you, Rick. Well, exactly. Buses are kind of embarrassing, so, I mean, whatever. They are what they are, so if you're going to add that, why not? Why not add solar panels to them? Greatest chat in history. I don't know about that, Darth, but okay. I think you, anyway, being a little sarcastic much, maybe? So you kind of figured out with my facial recognition and my characteristics that I had a Mensa scholarship? All right. Well, it all depends on age, Blue Medic. I haven't had an actual IQ test, so I can't speak to that. And usually IQ tests are generally meant, the purpose of an IQ test was generally meant to see if someone needed additional help in their academic studies. Interesting. Thanks, 274. That's what David says. David says that we're popular over there. I'm not sure I totally believe all that, but okay. Yeah, 274, just keep telling David that. I'm not totally sold, but thank you. Yeah, they're only good to help identify people that might need some academic help, I'd say. All right. Tied 4-4 after Scalia's death. High Court gives unions a win. Yeah, I guess they said public unions, it was okay for them to require people to pay into public unions. Or I think it wasn't that required them to pay into public unions, but required that they can collect fees from government employees who choose not to join, because basically the union fights for a standard base salary, and the people might not join them, but they can charge them a fee for contract negotiations, even if they're not a union member. Oh, the background is probably lagging the show.
Yeah, let's stop that. Yeah, let me get it.
That happens.
Yeah.
Here's Dave. That's not very nice.
I'm running for president. Sarah's running for vice president. Make great pâté de foie, Mad Dog. You get some eggs and some onion, and you can make pâté de foie. It's a fabulous French dish. Chicken livers. Hey, so far, gang, yeah, we're kicking butt tonight. It's really amazing. Hello, Nikmo Yagashi is the president of our Japanese fan club. Hello, welcome. That's amazing. Wow, congratulations. That's a very important position. I think it's great that we've got an independent voice in America that is not connected to the mainstream media, has been censored for the past 7 years, and is ready to go with a great plan for this country. I mean, you can't get anything better than this. And we built up karma. Great karma at America's Third Party.
I think they might be around for a little bit longer, heavy stuff, but for the most part, they are going by the wayside.
You did miss the dancing segment. You'll have to watch it in repeat. Stuff Miami. So yeah, this is a deal. We hang out and do Netflix and chill in the evening. So at 9 o'clock, the show wraps up, but we continue playing videos all the way to 2 in the morning. So if you guys want to chat and hang out in the chat room and talk about things with each other, you can. And the videos are very informative. So yeah, buy Japanese camera. Yeah, well, the screen was freezing because of the spinning silver spiral that was causing lag. Yeah, well, every night's Netflix and chill now, don't you think? I mean, do you mind? Because I enjoy Netflix.
I don't mind it. Well, we're not going to ban fishing off bridges, but we're not going to put a thing to allow all fishing off all bridges either. Neither ban nor mandate.
Right. If we don't ban or mandate, we won't have to create regulations, and the cost of government goes up.
Enjoy those Watergate hearings, Mad Dog.
Yeah. I can do Richard Nixon if you'd like, but he never testified at the Watergate hearings.
Sorry, Darth, our Xbox Live accounts is defunct.
Yeah, our Xbox has dropped out. We don't pay into the yearly thing. We didn't think the value was that good.
Yeah.
They came on with great games, they said, and we didn't see any great games. So I was quite shocked that Microsoft didn't offer great games, and we just dropped our membership fee.
I had bangs in high school.
I have not watched Fuller House, but I hear it looks good. Sarah showed it. It was all about the Full House crew that did a remake.
I watched all the Full House ones. Maybe that's why it's not appealing to me.
Yeah, we just didn't really get into it. I did, however, watch the 1976 rendition of Gilligan's Island on YouTube. We sit right back and hear the tale of a thing or two. The Professor and Mary Ann here on Gilligan's Isle.
There's some good news. They say millennials are doing a pretty good job at saving their money.
Oh,
nice
really?
Job.
Good job, millennials. You know, I was talking earlier about how the FAFSA loans need to be renegotiated. We need to get a much lower flat rate interest rate on all the FAFSA loans so you guys can start spending more money in the economy. those of you who are working and making bucks, you need to be spending money on things that'll help improve our economy. So that is one change that I expect. You know, we handled $11 trillion of Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae money back around 2009. We could easily handle the $1.3 trillion that are handled by the FAFSA organization. Cowbell, please.
Oh, where is it?
Oh, I'll find it. We got about 40 browsers open here. Cowbell on command. There you go. We're not wacky. We're not in any way wacky. We're average Americans that just decided to take our show out there with cowbell on a nightly basis. There's nothing wacky about us. You know, I've never turned my yen in America. My sister tried to give me some yen, and I said I didn't really want it. She said, it's worth money. I said, I know, but I mean, I'd rather get paid in US dollars.
It's because your body's trying to adjust, DT Laura, with the oxygen.
Makes me wiggle. Yeah, I think the cowbell phenomenon has happened recently because of the tremendous amount of interest in being completely out of it. Yeah, so many people are so out of it now. As cowbell has become like the going thing. Could you help waken me up? In our area, there are many tattoo parlors, and there's people who are piercing all over the place. And I'm beginning to think, I was telling to Sarah that this is like a growing industry of people that feel numb. They're just piercing their body and having tattoos because they just want to feel the pain of living. It's just, I don't understand what explains the tattoo piercing phase that America's going through. Yes. Well, thank you. I would love to get help from Japan. And thank you all of the viewers we have in Japan who want to promote us on the internet. You guys obviously can do that on your own. We're not taking donations from foreign people, but what you do on your own is your business, and that's the way it's set up. Now, I'm not a person who's going to accept APAC money. I've made that very clear to a lot of our U.S. viewers that APAC is not something that I would ever accept money from, to distinguish me from the other two candidates, Hillary and Donald. Yeah, it seems like everyone's kind of numb, so they're just kind of, getting piercings just to feel pain or something. I don't know. I don't believe in piercings. I don't have any piercings or tattoos. Well, people are probably feeling pretty numb right now. I wouldn't doubt it with all the chemicals that they're spraying in the air above us. I noticed kind of like just driving around my area, you're breathing ambient air. I just noticed everything was like in slow motion today. Weird. Today we had our chemtrails, and they spray the skies, and then we get some winds, and then pretty soon the rain picks up. Then we'll have about 2 days of rain, and then it gets high wind again, and then the skies are clear, and then they spray again. This has been a pattern that's been going on for about 3 years in the Pacific Northwest, heavy-duty spraying. And it's coinciding with the drought in California, the same thing. So we're soaking up all the water up in this area. That's the truth. And they're dehydrating down in California. David, your show is #1 in Japan? Did you see that?
Yeah, that's what he says.
That's right. Thank you so much. Thank all of you for watching and talking about this third party. I'm an average American, and it's been essentially a challenge to convince people that not only do I speed read, but I also manage a show with multitude of information streams happening simultaneously. It takes brains to do this, folks. You can't just do this on your own and expect it to happen. This took years of work for Sarah and I to get this level of expertise down and getting good equipment that provides you good quality video signal. I'm on a couple different channels. One person, I'm #1 in North Korea too. Thank you guys. Thank you. Well, this happened with the Beatles. The Beatles started of course, in America and became famous in England. So it's possible I may start overseas in Asia and become famous in America that way. But we have systematically been censored by American media. So you people around the world have an important part in getting this thing to take place. Because I'm being censored in the media in America, they act like, oh, I don't exist. Even Donald Trump is promoting my ideas all over the place. and making headway in the Republican Party, when the American people realize that he's been pitching my ideas, they're going to turn to me. And that's a go-to position in the upcoming 2016 election. And everybody knows how to spell my name. It's not like you can't spell David Sponheim. And it has kind of a ring to it. Sponheim. Like Anaheim, where Disneyland is. When you come to America, you should visit Disneyland. I used to spend time there as a child. I think I went to Disneyland like 45 times. And recently, didn't some of your family members go there? Oh, no, that's right. Somebody you know went there.
Yeah.
And I really want to take Sarah to Disneyland. It's one of the things I really want to do with her. Like 2 days at least. And just tour Disneyland. It'd be so much fun. I'd love to do that.
Disney World.
Or Disney World, yeah.
That might be fun.
I've never been to Disney World. They say it's spread out. It's like you got to go very far, whereas Disneyland is very concentrated.
Oh, okay.
Like in Tokyo. Isn't there a Disneyland in Tokyo? Let's take a look. Yes, images for Tokyo Disneyland. Wow. Oh yeah, look at that.
I don't know if I want to go to Tokyo to go to Disneyland. But
No,
I
but
guess we could.
But I'm just some of our Japanese viewers would love me talk about Tokyo.
Yeah, they would love for us to go to Tokyo Disneyland.
It's probably like the park in Orange County, in Anaheim. This is a 115-acre park at the Urayasu, Chiba, Japan, near Tokyo. Main gate is directly adjacent to both Mahayama Station. Wow. Well, you know, when you have as much fun as I do at Disneyland, you'll know what I'm talking about. Well, ticking time bags, if you want to just blow me off and vote for a New World Order 1%er, I mean, you're just buying time. Trump wants a police state. He wants a deportation forces. Folks, anybody who knows our Constitution knows that he cannot possibly ID Muslims. I know I'm being trolled, of course, except I really do have hundreds, if not thousands, of viewers around the world. But yeah, you're completely wrong there, buddy. Thank you. Wow, people look at Vaughn has shut down people accessing our show. Okay, when they get here, they get video capacity servers. He's bouncing everybody out of our show. I'm telling you, this is what's happening. Okay, if you don't believe me, that's your fault. 115 acres is probably the same size as Anaheim. Let me just check this out. The Sponheim Disneyland will be coming soon.
Well, David does want to legalize marijuana. That will tweak the economy a bit.
Definitely, yeah. It doesn't say how many acres the Disneyland in Anaheim is, but this is the one I grew up with, the Magic Kingdom. And Sarah's never been there. It's like, gosh, it was like $72 a ticket when we decided it was too expensive, and now what is it, 90 or 100? I love Disneyland. It's the happiest place on earth. Well, that's why people go to places like that, and that's why Disney does pretty well, because they essentially have Trump is New World Order. Do I have to write that in the room? That's okay. He is the establishment, guys. He won't even talk about chemtrails in the sky. I didn't kick you. Yeah, he won't even discuss GMOs. We've got other reasons to vote for Sponheim, and all the reasons are very important. I care about the American people. I have a 24/7 cancer cure team idea where I want to take money from the NIH and put together a cure for cancer. A 24/7 crew that works day and night, different shifts. They don't get extra pay. They just decide to work in the evenings. And these are people who are night owls and very good biochemists in their field. And they would be designated to work on solving and curing cancer. And there's just no reason why people should sleep when we are still short of our goal. Now, they may have already cured cancer, and they're keeping it personally valuable to the people that invested heavily in chemotherapy and radiation therapy. So Sarah's going to say goodnight, or Mad Dog's saying goodnight. You've helped me out quite a bit, though. Thank you.
Okay.
You've got fun in the other room, and get some rest, and then set up that show for... We're watching Revenge on Netflix. It's pretty good.
We're enjoying it.
Yeah. Sarah's had a long day. She needs to rest. All right. Thank you so much for coming in.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate it. It's a good thing. Sarah gives me breaks during the night, but she's been...
everything?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm set. Yeah, we got a good show going every night. We are interacting constantly. And ending the Federal Reserve, I was wondering at the time while I put this thing out there, why I even added end of the Federal Reserve? Because Federal Reserve is integrally related to war. It turns out that bankers pretty much are the reason we go to war. And this is a highly evolved reality that many of us are not even understanding. But most of the wars that we've ever had are about money. I mean, even the War of Japan was originally about the Java Peking oil rights. And the Japanese were very upset that the U.S. was interfering with their chosen oil rights off their coast. And that's something that our government refused to acknowledge. And then FDR did a lot of very weird things that pissed off the Emperor Hirohito. And excuse me, the vernacular, but they had a reason to attack us. And ironically, the truth is, FDR knew in advance that Pearl Harbor was going to be attacked. So a lot of things don't make sense. It's like FDR wanted us to get into a bigger war. And he was willing to sacrifice the lives of nearly 2,000 men in Pearl Harbor. And the reason why I know that is he purposely positioned all of the World War I vessels in Pearl Harbor. None of the World War II class vessels right after that, they started developing, tremendous amount of Navy, but all the old vessels were sitting there waiting, like sitting ducks, with men standing on the decks, and when they were hit with the bombs, it would turn into a initiation for a world war conflict, which FDR was having a hard time getting people to agree to. Just like the Trade Center drop with 9/11, and it's time I should talk about 9/11, our country seems to use these things to start wars, and ironically, the World Trade Center attack was also a chance to cover up the loss of $2.3 trillion at the Pentagon. $2.3 trillion. Donald Rumsfeld, the former Secretary of Defense, under George W., he actually said that the Pentagon had lost $2.3 trillion one day before the 9/11 attack, and there was never a mention by our government again. So clearly 9/11 itself, the attack, which started two wars, was about money laundering. Money laundering. So if your candidate, Trump, doesn't admit to an inside job or the possibility of an inside job, and he has not said those words one time in any public environment, if Donald Trump doesn't admit to the possibility of an inside job, then he is definitely, he's on the inside. That's all I can say. He is New World Order, and he is their establishment candidate on the Republican side, obviously. Unless they can get Paul Ryan to step in, and then they can oust him and mutinize the Trumpster from, because he seems like a Democrat. He seems like a Democrat in play in the Republican Party. But I'm not a Republican, but I understand that they very well may have a problem at that convention coming up. It's going to be interesting. All right, why don't you just go away, 609. People are here to chat, okay? I talk, they listen, and they chat. Get with the program, okay? Thanks. Spoonheim. All right. No, today is World Trade Center Attack Day, and I wanted to bring in some media that will make you think that maybe 9/11 could be a possible inside job. Maybe spark a brain cell in your head. That's my hope. Now, I'm going to play you a video that very few people have seen, only a few people on the internet. This is of a demolition truck as it rolls through New York City during a live shooting of the 9/11 attack. Watch this. Okay, there's the telltale signs of a demolition truck in downtown New York City, when the government and the 9/11 Commission report never ever acknowledged that it could be a demolition. When now over 10,000 architects around the world are committed to the idea that this was definitely a demolition, how could we not hear it? What I wanted to do is shake up your brain to the inner core. Are you wearing headsets during watching this show? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I triggered a random neurosynapse in your head. Yes. Of course there are demolition trucks all over New York, especially on a day when the demolition occurred. Okay, now I take you to the telltale sign of a cover-up. What you're about to see may take you to another dimension. A dimension of both sight and sound, of both things and ideas. You're about to enter the 9/11 zone. Only 15 frames were released of one camera angle when there were over 83 cameras facing the Pentagon on that fateful day of 9/11, 2001. What you're about to see is something far more obviously a missile. You can see the tip of the missile as it enters the 15th frame. So, yeah, you're basically looking at a situation. You're looking at a situation where not a plane, but a missile hit the Pentagon. Yeah. Oh, and here's a guy who was standing outside Flight 93 in the crash site in Pennsylvania, and he didn't see any bodies. Look at this.
On fire, some small fires in the woods, just small brush fires. The ground smoking, debris everywhere, pieces of metal, paper, insulation, wiring. And I just looked around and no people, and I'm thinking, where are the people?
Where have all the people gone from Flight 93's crash site? My mother was a nurse, and she had students that worked the crash site of a San Diego flight crash in the 1980s. And she said they could see fingers all over the ground. Body parts were everywhere. But he didn't see any body parts or anything at all. Now I'm going to show you another picture that's even more disturbing. Hey there, buddy. How you doing? I heard your South Park episode there, buddy. Yeah, I know all about you. Yeah, I've been checking you out online, buddy. I know who you are. Yeah. Okay. Here's a leaked video of the cruise missile hitting the Pentagon. What you're about to see may shock you.
Hello, it's Tuesday, July the 26th, 6:14 p.m. Just got this video. I'm sure many have seen this, but I've never seen the captions right here of these little explosions. I circled them that clearly point out there's no huge jet flying into the Pentagon. And right there, I mean, come on, that is not a jet flying into it. Where'd this video surface? Why is this not, more abundantly found on the internet? I have never seen this one. And
well, I'm playing it for you right now. That's right. Amber, are you here? Want to come and sit in my lap? Okay, so yes, I was talking about the 24/7 cancer cure team. I'm the only guy with this idea. Do I need any more evidence of a cover-up or an inside job? I mean, seriously, guys. Do I even need to roll the script on 9/11? I'll be playing videos later in the evening on this, but I think we can rest the case that there definitely was a cover-up. Any moron could tell you that. All right? So now we've got a presidential candidate in the form of Hillary and Donald who refuse to admit the possibility that 9/11 was an inside job. Well, I don't need to try much harder. I just showed you a missile from two different angles hitting the Pentagon and a guy outside Flight 93 who said there were no bodies. I mean, what more do you ask? How about black carbon chemtrails? Yeah, creating climate change so that everybody wants to vote for Bernie. And Bernie's acting like he's going to solve climate change.
This window camera captures a dangerously close pass by a rogue aircraft releasing persistent chemical trails that appear to be released out of direct proximity to the engine exhaust. This risky stunt maneuver would be a violation of FAA rules for traffic separation. Then another 4-engine rogue aircraft passes very close below the camera again, releasing black carbonaceous plumes very close to the jet engine exhaust. And then next we see 2 more rogue aircraft passing each other much too closely at nearly the same altitude as they release carbonaceous aerosol plumes, a concept for climate modification proposed by Dr. William Gray in 1974 in a paper entitled, quote, Weather Modification by Carbon Dust Absorption of Solar Energy, unquote. We see these and numerous other sightings that establish climate modification programs have been secretly deployed for years, but that the results have never been reported by IPCC investigators involved in publishing the science for climate change.
Okay, weather modification by carbon dust absorption of solar energy. That is an actual, thank you. That was an actual patent created just to do what they're doing right now. So if you're wondering if they've ever told anybody about this, everything's been talked about, but the mainstream media still acts like if you discuss it, you're a whack job. Open your eyes, you fools. Yeah, they're literally dumping chemicals on you like you're an insect. And you want to vote for a 1%er who's part of the New World Order. Wow. And look at the violence coming out of their mouths. Look at the kind of Trump supporters they have in here. Look at this. When Trump wins, he says, we will bulldoze Dave's trailer. Look at that. This is the mindset of a Nazi. Yeah, this is the mindset of a Nazi who absolutely draws their intelligence from the Nazi playbook. The Trumpster has been reading the Hitler speeches too long, and his people seem to echo the same sentiment. We've got a real problem on our hands. The Nazis are trying to take us over from within, folks. So this isn't just a battle for a third party. This is a battle against Nazism and communism, Hillary style. Hillary style. She's a Marxist. So is Bernie. Let's not kid ourselves. They're drawing their intelligent plan from an ancient concept. It literally is ancient. The breakdown of an economy into the communist, socialist, capitalist paradigm. We are looking at right now in our country at a mixed economy, a country that needs to come up with a lot of new products and new product development in order to trigger jobs. But unfortunately, the big businesses don't want to invest in U.S. employment. They simply want to outsource. So that's when the government comes in and says, hey, no, there's an incentive here. So I have a plan to actually give you a 2%. If you're a U.S. business, I can give you a 2% loan in the future through the infrastructure bank, offering U.S. businesses 2% loans to hire U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour, minimum. That's a trigger point for growth in the economy. That automatically forces inflation like Janet Yellen wants. This inflation that she wants is simply higher salaries. She doesn't realize we're all getting tanked by inflation every time you go marketing. You go buy a piece of steak, and you're down $12. And if it's Kobe beef, in the U.S., you're down $30 for a 1-pounder. This is in no way a comedy routine. I'm not a comedian. Don't in any way confuse me with a comedian. I'm, if anything, a person who's using humor to assist me in this political effort. I don't profit from what I do. This is not supposed to be totally entertainment. We make it fun. We're forced to because you don't want to think. Many of you don't want to even question the elaborate propaganda machine that's been constructed around you. And making threats like that is exactly what we expect from a Nazi. Yeah. I will definitely put Hillary and Barack Obama under the prosecutorial gun, so to speak. Certainly don't want to threaten either one of them. But basically the U.S. Justice Department needs to look at these people and say, hey, what have you done? Why did Hillary ignore the repeated attempts to contact her by Chris Stevens? And we know this for a fact. Why did she willfully go around tracking him? Because we've seen him tracked by her emails, what little ones we've had. She willfully got rid of 5,000 emails, was that? Or 5 months worth of emails? Doesn't matter. But what we did find out is she did a search on the internet. She did an actual search on the internet to try to find out how to get rid of emails. Yeah. Plus she was searching mind control as well, looking to find out what mind control was all about. Yeah. Okay, so that wasn't really heavily brought up in the recent Trey Gowdy hearings. She wasn't questioned at all about the Lafarge Corporation, her work prior as a director of the Lafarge Corporation when they were the ones that sold Saddam Hussein chemical weapons. That story's never even made it to the mainstream media. I'm probably the first person that's even talked about it. Hillary Clinton was not, in no way was approached on why she allowed the MEK, a known terrorist organization, to be removed from the known terrorist watch list the day after Benghazi. I mean, that reeks of payback. It really does. And then why did she recant 2 different stories to 2 different people at the same time? No matter what she says, she did tell a group of people close to her that it was a terrorist act, and a group of people in the media that it was some sort of a response to Innocence of Muslims movie, which was a 14-minute loop that aired. It wasn't even a real movie. And it was aired and produced by a known federal informant. Okay? A known federal informant created a movie that ended up killing over 40 people in India. Literally, 40 people died because of the making of that movie. If our government and that federal informant was complicit in making that movie as a cover for a Benghazi operation, and then it morphed into a terrorist strike, and why she allowed the MEK to be completely removed from the terrorist watch list, all of this reeks, and it was never brought up in any hearing whatsoever. Now, I'm not a prosecutor, but you know I'm making headway here. And you know the logic, the simplicity of what I'm saying is getting deeper and deeper into the truth. When we carve deep into the truth, we finally get into a vein of corruption. And we realize this is serious. This is really where it's at. My eyelids I'm actually using pink rouge on my eyelids now. I think that's the way to go. Some people like, yeah, absolutely. Hey, by the way, I'm the guy who came up with a 1,000-mile fence. And you're the person who denies that chemtrails exist. Yeah. Let's just find out who we are at this point. Just getting to know you, getting to find all about you. Yeah, I noticed recently that somebody's been complaining about my lack of eyebrows. And I did a search for another president that had no eyebrows, and I came up with another president that had no eyebrows. Now, I have eyebrows. They just happen to be the color of my hair, as you can see. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to show you a picture of another presidential candidate that did not have eyebrows. I bring you John F. Kennedy. Ask not why you don't have eyebrows and I do. Ask not what you can do for your country. Ask why your eyebrows aren't helping you. Yeah, clearly he doesn't have eyebrows. So I'm not the only guy without eyebrows, okay? Although I do have eyebrows. They're just not Juice Man 2 eyebrows. You know who Juice Man 2 is, right? The Juice Man. Well, let's be clear. Yeah, this old man has no eyebrows. Well, I had a little case of eyebrow-itis at one time, and my eyebrows were starting to look like this. Yeah. And I had to actually clear my face of my eyebrows. So maybe I could have some eyebrow splicing done or something. Well, the hair color is not dull. It's actually refreshed and revitalized with the miracle of the Juice Man 2 diet. So many people are saying, are you a young version of Juice Man 2? And I give you Juice Man 3. Juice Man third party style. Yeah, I'm back. It's time to Juice Man 3. It's Juice Man 3 time. It's a Juice Master. Making copies. Making juice. Alright, so obviously I didn't want to have extreme eyebrow problems, but I think I went a little bit overboard when I trimmed one day. Yeah. Taking a large razor to your face doesn't really help. Look, you're going to vote for me whether you like it or not. Yeah. You're going to be kicking and screaming because I'll be the only guy who speaks reason to you in this insane world that we're living in. Yeah. You'll be the only person that actually understands me, too. Someday, you and I will be on a spiritual plane unique to just us. Traveling through both time and space. Encountering both things real and surreal. You're traveling through another dimension. Okay, so we're done with the news. Patty Duke died at 69. Pretty sad. And Apple wants the FBI to reveal how it hacked the San Bernardino killer's iPhone because they're a little bit upset that they're being painted out as not winning here. You know, winning isn't just Charlie Sheen. You know, it's a whole concept. Apple got the FBI to retract their case against him. I believe that Muslims are entitled to freedom of religion, and not all Muslims are jihadists. And just like all Christians are not violent haters of abortion. Yeah, there's a whole series of things that. Well, let's be clear. The FBI copied the operating system and force hacked the phone. Yeah, it wasn't that hard. I know. Well, John McAfee actually went on screen talking about that publicly. And his work, no doubt, filtered into the FBI's office because he was all over the news. And the FBI must have called him and said, hey, you know, how do we do this? Oh, okay, I'll explain it. The FBI was just literally using the muscle of law against Apple, and Apple did what it needed to do. What's interesting to note, though, is Trump totally picked the wrong side on that one. He told you to boycott Apple, a company that's been doing incredibly well over the past 30 years, a company we as Americans should be proud of. Basically, Trump told you to boycott them because they were protecting your privacy. Does he have a brain when it comes to technology? I mean, maybe his daughter ought to speak on technology. Seriously. I mean, what are you dealing with, folks? What would make you want to vote for an old man who is desperately in need of an extra credit balance on his credit card? I mean, come on. It's pretty obvious when he lost his job to Mark Burnett and he couldn't even control the name of Celebrity Apprentice that he blew it. I mean, God, now he wants to hijack the Republican Party and force himself to the top of the heap like he's somebody special when he takes my ideas and he uses them to defeat Jeb Bush? This is ridiculous. And now I hear somebody said he was talking about a blimp plane. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. Tomorrow is Wasteful Wednesday, and we'll be talking about government waste at all levels, radiation, spent fuel rods. We've got some interesting information about that. We've been wondering why we haven't been able to get rid of the spent fuel rods that are sitting around all of our 104 reactors in America. And many of you people in Japan, you have 51 reactors that need to be dealt with. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. Yeah. No, we were on Ustream when he watched us. He was in Ustream under the name of Donald Trump. How original. And that was not cheap, by the way. Ustream charged a lot for those names. I know. So Trump tweeted about a blimp plane. Can you believe this? I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's blatant. So you folks have to understand, we're up against the wall with the Illuminati controlling establishment figures like Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. and the New World Order wanting to impose its will upon us, creating a larger police state, forcing us to submit, which is not what our great leaders wanted. Our Constitution stands for itself, and really the tenets of our Constitution, which are in many ways mirrored in other countries like Japan. Even the concept of democracy is dead in America. The Democrats are the least democratic people ever. They literally want to control and dominate and keep corruption at all levels. Same with the Republicans. They've lost track of what our republic is all about. So yeah, we need a centrist political movement, a third party, to stop this tyranny from continuing. And that's the only thing I can say right now. Hey, thanks for coming into the show. Appreciate it. I'm going to sign off for now, but again, you can watch videos into the evening and chat and talk. All right, but appreciate the support, guys. You've been great. All right, and never forget. Yeah, the police never arrest bankers, politicians, because they work for them. It's part of the deal. Yeah, they don't really care about us. So we have to stand up for us. We can't let them dictate what the terms are for the American people. We need this third party like we never did before. There's only one way to stop these people, and writing my name in and forcing a recount is our best shot at stopping the two parties right now. If you want to get me on your ballot in your state, you can still go to AmericasThirdParty.com and click on the old site link, and it has all the election law in every state. Clicked right through. Just go to your state and you'll find out. Alrighty. Can't stop because we won't stop.
We can't stop and we won't stop.
See you later, everybody.
We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop.